same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this is 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. Ooh, I've been on the flex since flex zone. Neighborhood all in your eardrums. I ain't never scared like Bone Crush. Boy, I got God, don't fear none. My line busy, take no calls. Feels like I don't have no flaws. Snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shady, my bros raw. No breaks, we go. Throw shade, that's a no. Go high, go low. Like spinning in a 644. Cash money like 504. Ball like AD24. No sleep, need more. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. Ooh, I'm a real one, my day ones. Try speak up, can't say none. Try dig dirt, there ain't none. I make the money that save up. 10, 80, my save ons. Take to the top on the baseline. New car, race on. Fast lane, pace on. With the booyah, that's a flex. Not human, I ain't from another planet. I'ma teleport, might vanish. I'ma wake up, do damage. Join number 7, East Bordeaux. Working all night, need more though. I remember nights I was poor though. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. Go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Countdown, levitate. Going up, elevate. Watch me demonstrate. On time, never late. I grind, celebrate. No pump, fake, hesitate. I've been scoring every day. Champagne Perrier. Since 9-3, been in the box, now I'm stepping up to home. Like straight out the sand lot, now I'm plotting on the globe. I work hard, I show love, that karma steady growing. Got this far, I go hard, let God take control. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 500 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Smile good, skin clear. This here my year. Hey, look up here. This here my tier. Same fit 4 days. I grind 4 ways. I play no games. All me, no blame.
What's good? What's good, family? It's your boy Strong Art back at you with another video. Shout out to the old subscribers. Shout out to the new subscribers. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for joining your boy once again. Because now it is once again time to talk about passport business. That's right, passport business, baby. Well, of course, as we all know right now, brother Austin Hollerman is doing numbers right now with all the attention he's getting. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into talking about the movement. We're gonna get into talking about some of the information that is coming down from some of the OG travel brothers, some more of the brothers who have made their travels, who have been to these places that we talk about, these places that we frequent, and we're going to get into some of those perspectives. We're going to talk about a lot of that. But yeah, clearing a couple things. We're going to take care of a little bit of house cleaning. First off, I do go by the name Chris Strong Art. For those who may want to contact me for any business related ventures, I do art. I actually do photo editing. I have different things, different projects I'm always involved in. Any tips or advice anybody may want to contact me about, regarding anything that you might see me involved in, you can hit me up at Chris Strong Art on my Instagram. Also, you can hit me up at my email, strongart06@gmail.com as well. For those of you that may want to get in contact with your boy. But once again, man, hey, man, appreciate you guys for being here, bro. It's been real. It's been really real over the past, we're going on a week now. We're going on a week, and we passport bros have been getting knocked upside the head and then knocked back down the other, man. It has been crazy out here in these passport bro streets. And this is why I want to get into this topic. This is why I want to discuss this, because I think some people look at it like, where's the movement going? Is this the end? Has Austin Hollerman shut down everything? Has Austin Hollerman ruined everything? Do we need to be worried? You know what I'm saying? Do we need to just pack it on in and just stay here in these great United States? Did the feminists win? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Did the plantation mammy succeed in keeping brothers here in the States? You know what I mean? What are we really dealing with? You know what I mean? What is the state of passport bros right now? What can we really say about this? Okay. Now, based off the landscape and how things are panning out, to be completely honest, in my opinion, I was going to hold it, but I'm going to give it straight to you. This is probably one of the best goddamn things that can happen for passport bros everywhere. I'm trying to tell you right now. Let's go. This is probably one of the best developments. You know why? Because our name is getting rung across everywhere right now. You thought we were mainstream, and now we have hit the point to where we're almost being villainized just for having the idea to want to travel. You know what I mean? It's like they're bringing a full court press attack, and this is what I was saying. This is what I was talking about. This is what I was saying. This is what I was addressing when we were initially going over the information dealing with Stephanie Ribeiro, when we were originally talking about all this stuff, I said that this is an attack. But guess what? They have to address their enemy first if this is what it's going to be. They have to address us. And now look, we're getting talked about across Fox News. We're getting talked about across all type of media platforms. The movement is really picking up steam if it wasn't before. And I, I had heard a lot of different comments and a lot of different viewpoints across the manosphere, across black men having this conversation. And a lot of my points that I had already addressed had been echoed throughout other brothers that were talking. And like I said in the beginning, back when I had, I did my initial video like last week. It was like a week ago when I did my video, right? So, and a lot of the things that I said were going to happen basically started to roll down the hill and fall that way. They basically started to kind of, unveil themselves as I said they would, because back when I did my video, back when I did the first one, check the date. All right. One of my videos was the first ones to get out here really kind of discussing the situation, because we said that this is probably going to go up. Okay. And one of the things that I said for a lot of brothers to have is patience and understand the differences in the culture. Okay. To understand that there's a certain way that you go about dealing with this situation. There's a certain way that you go about um, handling someone from another culture who is essentially trying to come at you as though you're wrong and you're on their soil. So now you kind of have to deal with them in their homeland. We talked about these things, and I put these things out in my first video that I discussed it. Now, this may be my last video talking about this topic, because I think it's been ran through the ground. The horse has been kicked dead, I don't know, 1,000 times. We've kicked the son bitch dead a few times already. So, all right. So my thing is just like, bro, like, we've talked about this, we've had these conversations, but I want to highlight also other content creators, and I want you to kind of hear how they address the situation itself. Okay, because when we came out, or when I came out first. Well, not the very first. So let me not take that credit. But when I was one of the first ones, BMO Radio, Kosher Clinician, uh, those were the first videos I really kind of saw on this side of the house that started talking about it first. And that's just because we kind of had the information, and then we were the first ones to really present it, um, for the most part, before all the big dogs really got to it. Um, but when that information started coming out, you know, people started reacting to it differently. But I had already called it and already said ahead of time, like, y'all take heed and slow down, because this isn't your basic, oh, we need to destroy a feminist. We need to attack this Stephanie person on her own soil, and we need to show them how we march on feminists. It's not exactly the battle tactic in this situation. It's not exactly how you want to go about this, right? We had these talks, okay? So my thing is to address it though. Passport Bros ain't going nowhere. I'm not gonna run from it, and I ain't gonna hide from it. I put my name on it. I'm a Passport Bro. I stand on it. Okay. I advertise my shorts. When I do my shorts, you see that at the end of the clips, when I do my thing, I put Passport Bros, we up, because we are. Matter of fact, Passport Bros, we up even higher now. I'm doubling down. Okay. I'm doubling down on Passport Bros. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't scared of nobody. Okay. Don't take what we originally said in our videos to mean that we're just going to allow someone to attack us. We never said that when we were talking about Stephanie. We said, first of all, get your facts straight. Second of all, understand that as men, we need to go about our battle strategy differently, instead of just launching a full scale direct barrage attack. Okay. We don't need to just run in through the front gate, with the barbarians at the door, and try to take the castle. No, 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 no. We need to be strategic. All right. Like assassins. All right. Assassinos. All right. How we do this thing, the brotherhood, right? That's how we're going to get this done. Strategic movement on how we do it. And there's other content creators who are also echoing those points. And I said in the beginning, I said, y'all brothers need to watch and pay attention to the men who do travel and have been to Brazil and who do frequent these areas, who have set up and established understanding with these people. They have a history with these people. They've lived down in this country for a period of time. I said, pay more attention. And this is the advice that I still want younger brothers to understand is pay more attention to the brothers who are invested in Brazil. They're going to tell you how to better rock down in that territory. Okay. Now, hey, maybe you don't want to take it from me, and that's why I'm gonna bring up a couple examples and we're gonna go over that. It's okay. It's okay. But like I said, we have to deal with this in a certain type of way. Okay. But passport bros ain't going nowhere. Passport bros ain't going nowhere. We here to stay. Brothers, light your cigars, put your feet up. Okay. Get your plane tickets. Okay. Y'all should be happy. For those who are talking about the movement in this regard, I think that we all understand now that we have a responsibility also to provide the best information that we can when it comes down to giving out any advice that we have. Now, listen, I'm not the most seasoned of veterans and these brothers who have been traveling years beyond me. I'm not trying to say that I'm the head honcho when it comes to brothers who travel. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there are many sources when it comes to this. And if you're a young brother, it's best not to jump out the window on your own and just hit the streets and hit the ground running, thinking that, oh, well, I got this figured out. I watched a couple videos. I would say this because now this is why it's different nowadays. Okay, this is why it's different because when I was first getting into it, I kind of, I watched Charles Tyler's videos. I got into it from that angle, wanting to go different places and stuff like that. Okay. Now, understand that because we deal in a climate of feminism, we deal in a climate of social media. You want to move a little differently now because things are even more put out there. Things are even more put on social media, and the battle is even harder now to keep your image straight. All right, it's harder now to keep your image the way you want to, and not people create a narrative on you when you're trying to move back and forth or when you're trying to go to these different countries. It's harder even now to really kind of keep things like, all right, cool. That was not what I meant. Don't take it no type of ways. So let me explain. What I'm saying is for the younger ones or for brothers who haven't even traveled yet, I want you to understand that, even if we want to give an examples to Pearl and how she kind of shot up through the ranks out of nowhere, but what did she do? She studied at the feet of the masters. She studied at the feet of the masters. Okay. Now then, for the younger brothers who want to think about traveling and want to think about going and doing their thing, understand you want to be brought in under somebody. And I've said this before. I give much respect to who I came in under. Okay. I came in under Charles Tyler, via his videos first. And then I did move a few times. I did make some trips on my own actually. And then I met the group. And then I started learning and gaining way more. So you can see our conversations when I start talking and having conversations on BMO radio, when I'm talking and you hear me with all the other brothers and we're discussing these things, right? So that's what I would tell the younger brothers first and foremost is to make sure that you come in under somebody. Brothers, you do want a travel mentor. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it 100. You do want a travel mentor. We talk about Austin in the way of trying to let people know that he wasn't wrong by our standards, but he made a couple false moves and it bit him in the ass. And this is why we say you do want to have a traveling mentor. You do want to have somebody who's an OG or somebody who's more versed in traveling than you, and they can show you the ropes of whatever country you go into. Because this is where we start to talk about the passport pookies and stuff like this. Now, we don't use these things in order to shame brothers who come from a certain demographic out of the states and then they finally want to go to a different country, and now we're shaming you kind of like let's just say it, a little bit more hood, a little bit more street brothers, you know what I'm saying? All right, maybe y'all didn't have the same background as a brother who was in the military or stuff like this. Because honestly, a lot of these travel brothers are military brothers. Okay, me, Wapo, One MT. All right, most of these, I'm telling you, in most travel networks, you're gonna see brothers who have a military background, and that's the thing. We carry that military discipline because most of us had to deploy, and most of us had to go to places where our culture did not come first, and we had to acquiesce to the environment that we were around. That's what the army teaches you, or the military teaches you, how to adapt in any situation. All right, that's what makes our American fighting force so great. That's what makes our military so strong. Adaptation. Okay, so this is why we have these talks and conversations like this, and you want to have that same mentality when you start traveling and when you start going to these different places. Look for somebody that can, even if it's going to be a consultation, it's going to be worth your while. So many brothers now are doing consultations for the respective areas that they frequent, and they're showing you how, based on the information that they have and based on the information that they're willing to share with you. So what if it's a fee attached to it? It's going to be worth your while. Okay, because I say like this: either you can pay up front or you can pay on the back end. Because I think just jumping out there as a virgin, I think that you're gonna bump your head. You will make it. You're gonna bump your head. And of course, we're using Austin as the example. Look at Austin. All right, he had the clout. Everybody's following him. This and that. You know what I'm saying? He's high up on his own followers. And I'm not taking a shot, by the way. You know, he's high. He's doing his thing. He's moving. He's shaking the bacon. He's got the high hand. And then, he made a slight miscalculation and he paid for it, but at the same time, it kind of balances itself out because of how social media works. Stephanie turned him essentially into a living martyr. Now, nobody elected Austin to be a quote unquote leader of Passport Bros. And I've heard some flack come back at Passport Bros talking about y'all's leaders is 23. And I'm just like, first of all, family, nobody had a briefing, and we voted and elected Austin to be our leader. That never happened. Nobody crowned him a leader. Nobody. All right. No one crowned Austin a leader. The media, based off of his following, which there are other content creators who talk about travel who have way more subscribers, who have more, like 1MT, of course, also as well. 1MT. I mean, I could see if somebody said 1MT was like a Passport Bro leader, I'd be like, yeah, I guess so. Okay. Even Dennis Sperling in some regards could be a bit of a, if you want to say, a leader, because he did all the travel thing and then he went back home and then set things up for his children, and he's showing, to me, I believe that Dennis Sperling is like showing the evolution of like the Passport lifestyle. Okay. um Granted, what I'm saying, having your children and then coming back home to set things up with them, being a good father, stuff like this, these are all great things. Okay. He shows the evolution of, yeah, you're a Passport Bro still, but you're a family man, you're a father. And I'd be lying if I said Dennis Sperling did not inspire me on the idea of what it looks like for a brother who's a Passport Bro to keep that mentality, but still raise his children. So just imagine if Dennis Sperling was raising his kids in the DR or something like that. That would be straight up ideal, even though he's doing a lot of great things already. Still, that would be ideal as not an ideal way to follow how to go about being a Passport Bro, but you have your children. He's showing you how to, teach your kids the language, take them to the country, you know what I'm saying, get them acclimated at early ages and already have their minds freed to not think that they have to stay here in America. See, Dennis Sperling, I know some people hate on him, but he's a great example of Passport Bro fathers. Okay. OG, straight up. And he's got his career and he can show you how to move, but he still is not above showing that he comes from where he comes from. All right. He still is going to let y'all know he still is hanging out and he still is showing you it's about Passport Bros. Okay. This is why I say passport bros ain't going nowhere. And if you got a passport right now, you need to put that motherfucker in there and wave it around like you ain't never waved it. Because I'm trying to tell you, we not going nowhere. The movement ain't stopped. The movement is going stronger. I'm gonna make sure that I'm going harder to bring y'all content. Other content creators are coming out and it just yo, it's getting crazy. I heard a story that said passport bros have the ability to overstep the manosphere as far as strength. I believe it's possible. I believe it's possible. I believe that we can do it, and that's not any slight or diss to the manosphere, black manosphere in particular. But the movement is strong right now. Let's get into a couple. Let's get into a couple chats. Let's see what the brothers are talking about. Um, let's see what we got going. Mr. Gee's World says, "Peace, bruh. Peace to you, family. Shout out to you." American Brazilian in the building. What's up, fam? He said, "Facts, bro. What's up, G? What's up, G?" All right. Black man's options in the building said, "What's good? What's up, family? What's good? What's good?" All right, Saint Cyr, salute to you, Chris. And I guess there's truth to that. I wasn't in the military though. I was raised in a military family. See, there you go. Look at that. There's an example, right? How his family, he's raised in a military family, showed him some of the ways of how the military moves and gave him a mind to travel. Okay. For Saint Sir. Saint Sir. You know what I mean? But that goes into my point. So you got Jamel in the building, the greatest producer in the world, super producer, the producer. He said, "Yep." You know what I'm saying? What's up, cuz? Uh, and then Black Man's Option says he ain't our leader. And yeah, we got to make sure that we harp on that. Okay. Because just like Tariq Nasheed talks about black leaders, and this is why he doesn't want to take a mantle of being the leader for pro blacks. Leaders get shot. Leaders get shot. Damn near all of our leaders have been shot or something's happened to them, which is why we try not to address a particular leader, which is why Passport Bros is a hashtag. Passport Bros is like an idea. Okay. And our detractors are trying to destroy an idea. Passport Bros is a movement. You can't designate and crown a god of Passport Bros. It's not going to work, especially the youngest one. We never said he was our leader. Y'all did. And then you try to make us own up to y'all's assumptions of who this person is based off the information and evidence that you're trying to build on him and also put that on all of us, which is something that we all kind of we battle against that because we don't take kindly to being framed under somebody else's narrative. We don't like that. Let's see. We got Jamel around the world. Says salute to the chat. Salute to the chat, family. All right. Charles Tyler predates Passport Bros by more than 10 years. And that's another thing. Brothers have been traveling. The hashtag Passport Bros was really just a way to kind of all encompass the idea. Passport Bros is an idea. Yes, I know that there is an official group and it has members. I get it. But other than that, it's an idea. Because brothers were and are Passport Bros long before the hashtag was even thought about. And now, a way to encompass all brothers who travel. You can say, oh, they're Passport Bros. But we all have our different perspective, groups, countries that we mainly frequent and operate out of. Okay. Right. We all have different areas. All right. We're not a monolith, not even in travel. We all don't go to the same places. We all have different perspectives. That's why we're a network. We're a brotherhood, assassino. Okay. The Assassin's Brotherhood. That's how we move in silence with the hoods up, baby. We'll draw the blade if we need to, but you won't even see it. Because if you got to see it, it's over. All right? That's how we move. That's how we move. And that's what a lot of the traveling OGs are saying. That's what a lot of the brothers are saying. Okay? So Austin made some false steps. But if you listen, and I'm sure y'all have, when he spoke with El Wapo, he said, well, one of the things I shouldn't have done is put everything on camera. Yes, young Padawan. Yes, you shouldn't have put everything on camera. Exactly. That's the thing. All right. Because you got to understand, even in Brazil, you can run into situations where girls are going to be like, I felt he was doing this to me. I didn't completely understand what was going on. My feelings, you can still deal with that. That's why you want to be extra careful about how you go about doing those things. When you go to different countries, that's why you want to check in. Okay. That's why you want to check in certain places. All right. This is why you have different brothers set up in different places that you would check in and tap in with. We already know you got your one master teachers, you got your BMTs, you got your Zoom to Thailands. Okay. For brothers talking about going to Brazil, Al Grease, BMO. All right. Black Man's Option. Okay. All right. The group that Charles Tyler founded. There's a lot of resource and information. And this is why when we speak to the younger guys, when we speak to the younger bros, right? We understand. We understand it. Y'all get it. Y'all know drama. Y'all know how to blow it up on the TikTok. We know y'all know how to blow it up on social media. Look at me saying y'all like I'm old. All right. We understand it. Y'all know how to do that. Right. But the legacy of what this is the opposite of that. So that's why you got to be more strategic on how to move in this space if you're going to take it the traditional route as a youngster would with putting everything on social media. And then you want to go down there, you want to make media, you want to talk about things. You can do it, but listen to the guys who've come ahead of you and let them tell you how to do it, because this is a delicate situation. You don't want to be just looking at this thing like, oh well, no, I know how to do this, I got this, ain't nobody gonna tell me, blah blah blah. No, I no. All right, this is a delicate situation because we're dealing with international matters. As we continue, we're gonna keep rolling through the chat, see what's up, roll call in the chat. All right, we got Tampa Supreme says salute, bro, salute. Yeah. Tampa Supreme say new sub. Yes, I see you, fam. Shout out to you for supporting the channel. Shout out to you for supporting the channel. I saw you when you subscribed up, G. I saw you. Appreciate you, cuz. Let's see what we got here. Jamel again says, no leader, just a code of ethics. Yes, just a code of nail on the head. Just a code of ethics. We're going to get in that tonight. So now then, we're going to get into a little bit more of the meat and potatoes of what we got planned for the night. I'm going to get into how passport bros are basically unstoppable right now. Okay. And I want to show a little bit of growth in the youngster. All right. Let me go to present screen. We're going to share screen. Audio, share screen. We're going to share this. Hold up. Make sure we're here. We're going to share system audio. Going to go there. Bring this up. Stand by. Hold on. Bring some up for y'all. Hold tight. And share screen 2. Going to share it. All right. Many of you have probably seen this, and I'm going to go over it. So be careful. This will happen if you share a Chrome tab since you. Okay, got it. Dragon. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into a little bit of the interview Austin did real quickly with the brother from Fox News. Oh, my camera went up. With the brother from Fox News, who basically is going over the allegations and stuff like this. And Austin is speaking to him in a way to show him he's standing on, like, he's not allowing people to beat him up about it. Now, this is one thing I will say, that we do see a little bit of growth from the youngster. All right. So we can leave this as it is. I'm going to share this. We're going to get into it. Hold tight. All right. Camera back on. All right, cool. We good. So let's rock. We're going to get into this. We're going to talk about a couple things real quick. All right. So let's move this up. We already know what he says. Yada, yada. All right. All right. Now he gonna say some fugazi stuff, but we're gonna get into it. Let's work. Let's see. Got to mute off.
Brazilian women.
Well, actually, I wasn't trying to start any trouble. I actually thought I was doing a lot of promoting. But apparently some things were lost. Some things were
Get yourself into with these Brazilian women.
Well, actually, I wasn't trying to start any trouble. I actually thought I was doing a lot of promoting. But apparently some things were lost. Some things were purposely lost in translation on purpose. And that it's led to death threats, and I was already on my way to Thailand anyway. I was going to be in Sao Paulo for about a week. But based off the way I...
Now, one of my first points I want to speak on is if you look here, look, he says that it wasn't his intent. He was trying to promote. Okay. He said it himself. Well, I was trying to promote. All right, cool. You was trying to promote. But again, we get back to the point of let somebody mentor you on the better ways to promote so you don't get yourself caught up. But again, that's a moot point at this point. So I'm sure by now he gets that. So let's...
things were going. I just said, you know what, I probably ought to head out 3 or 4 days earlier. So I'm over here now.
So I saw a part of your video where you said, and you clarified, you said some Brazilian women are easy. It depends on who you are, how you approach them, not as a robot, but as an individual. And when they heard that, they just went bonkers over those comments when you said that Brazilian women are easy. Some Brazilian women are easy to get. So why did you say that? Is that reality for you when you're there? Is it easier for you to get Brazilian women than, say, American women?
Yes, the culture is completely different there. So women are a lot more responsive. It's a lot more reasonable dealing with women, if you ask me. There's games everywhere, but there is such a minimal level in Brazil, it's almost unnoticeable. But the reason I said easier, and the thing is, the reason a lot of those Brazilians are in like an outrage is because number one, they're going off. They're just running. It's just like January 6th, right? Trump says do this, everybody runs and does it. That's the same thing they're doing right now. Without watching the video, without understanding what the title actually is, because the title is a question. The title says, "Are Brazilian women easy?" That's a topic. This is what we're going to talk about. The first statement I made is, in general, they're easy to deal with. I didn't say anything about sex. I did eventually, and later on in the video, but I didn't lead with that because that's not all that was about. I would not move to another country and get online and call the women easy.
Did you move to Brazil? Were you living there at that point?
Yeah, I was living there.
Now you're in Thailand.
Yeah, well, I'm not living in Thailand though. I was already gonna come here anyway. I had already put up I think it was 10 or 11 countries I was gonna...
All right. Well, sure most of y'all seen that video. My background producer say, "Hey man, you might want to chill because they might come at you with the strikes." You know what I mean? Fair use, of course. I do post the fair use. Matter of fact, I should go ahead and let me drop the fair use banner just so everybody knows. Let me see. There we go. Fair use. But the point I'm illustrating is that the way everything is being levied against him, okay, it's like they're making him out to be a bad guy. They're making him out to be these things. And again, we say that he made some mistakes and that, he, the way he went about it, he's kind of paying for it a little bit. But overall, this is going to keep the name Passport Bros ringing. And my thing is that you should not be afraid of that. Okay. Now, he does get to a particular question where he tries to talk about sexual allegations. And at this point, I guess I'll just speak on it because, everybody, I would say everybody's heard it. But when he starts to get into the allegations, the brother makes the point. He says, "Hey, man, I'm not rich, bro." He's like, "I'm not rich like that. How can I be moving people?" All right. He's like, "I can't be moving people around." Okay. He's like, "I cannot move people." And then one of the things he says is like, "I don't even have a car. So how am I moving people? How and who am I moving?" Okay. Also, yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. Let me see here. Stand by. I'm actually gonna go ahead and drop the link. We're gonna get it popping in a minute and give anybody a chance to get up and speak on this, possibly for the last time, in case they want to, because I feel as though this is probably gonna be the last time I talk about it. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna post the link. We'll get it popping in a minute for anybody who wants to come up and discuss. But yeah, and in regards to this, yeah, with the interview, um, he did show levels of understanding that he's getting it. Okay, that's what I'm illustrating here is that the brother understands and he's getting it. Okay, he's picking it up. He's like, all right, you know what? Okay, I see that y'all saying this. I can move this way. I get it now. A little hard headed at first, but we're gonna be all right. And that's what most people are saying is that he's gonna be all right. You know what I mean? So, um, now I do want to also go into one of the things that I was saying about how uh other content creators who came before who are also familiar in this travel game will tell you about how you don't want to go at this the wrong way. Now, as you can see, for an example, I got El Wapo up here. El Wapo, right? Travel OG. All right. He's definitely he has his medals. All right. He's done business in Brazil. He's made a lot of moves. Shout out to him. Y'all go follow him if you ain't following him. Um, and one of the biggest things he does really kind of break down is understanding the culture. And I want to also put this out here again so that people can see that you want to move a certain way. You do want to move a certain way. You don't want to just be out here free willy nilly moving around. All right. And Wapo made a lot of points, man. He made a lot of solid points. I want to highlight a couple points that he said because he just hit, man. He hit with straight gold. All right. Let me get into it real quick. Let's rock to what part is it where he said what he said. All right, so let's go from here. And this, El Wapo, he really gets into it. You know what I'm saying? He really gets into it. So pay attention to what he's saying about cultural understandings and why he basically had to say something.
And why isn't it wrong if she does?
All right, now just so I can illustrate, he's getting on one of the biggest things that people were saying is like other content or basically uh Renata Lopez, she has a little channel, she's doing her thing. How come it's wrong if Austin does it? Why is it wrong if Austin does it? Now he's going to start getting into a little bit of the cultural understandings and the differences and things. So listen up, check this out.
Let me talk to you men for a second. We are supposed to think with logic. Okay. Stamping your feet, doing the whole point and sputter doesn't work for us, especially in a foreign country. You don't get to claim freedom of speech, none of that when you go overseas, none of it. You absolutely have to respect the culture. And like Biggie says, bad boys move in silence, not the violence part, but the silence. Yo, you want to keep a low profile. Absolutely. Does that mean you can't make content? No, because I've been making content there. Check and Effect has been making content there. There are quite a few. There's like the Swedish gringo, white dudes that make content down there. But there's a way that you have to move, and you have to acknowledge that you don't know what you don't know. And this is the infancy of wisdom for men. When you stop leaning on your own understanding when you navigate the world, and you're willing to let in people that, dude, have you heard the saying that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear? That's exactly what is happening here. I tried to appear. Kosher talked to him. He's had these conversations, and I just don't understand why he didn't do it. But this is why I'm in this now. This is
All right, so y'all see that, right? Okay. Wapo is speaking on it, bro. Okay. Just like how similar to 1MT was saying. All right. 1MT was echoing the same points. He's like, brother, you bumped your head, man. Okay. This isn't us bashing you. This isn't us trashing you. This is us letting you know that this is a kind, or this is a critique from the older brothers. All right, this is a critique from the other travel brothers, letting you know we see you shining, but if you don't want to continue to make moves that can get you in trouble, listen up. Okay, listen up. All right, Wapo is illustrating this point. Like I said, we talked about it before. Me, Kosher, BMO Network, we all talked about it before. And this is what I said. Remember, when I go check my video, when I said, okay, this is what's going to circulate. Because you got to listen to the brothers who go here. Some brothers just looking for smoke and they just want to see the world burn. Fine. All right. But for the guys who this is really real to, they're probably not going to say much, but they're going to say a few things, and they're going to be very strong points. Because for us to continuously talk about this, it's like, oh my God, it's like, it's just like, hey man, we see it, we understand it, we've talked about the points, and it is what it is. Okay. And we're telling you the best course of action to go with. And our biggest thing, and my biggest thing that everybody understands, is that this is a battle for the minds of the younger ones, guys who haven't got here yet. And this is what Wapo is illustrating. Y'all listen up.
This is why I'm in it. Renata Lopez got her start with me. If you look right here, that comment from Marcel Christie, there's a YouTube link. That YouTube link is to this video. This video is one of Renata's videos. I'm going to play about 2-3 minutes of it. I'm in the daggone video. I'm just finding out about this like 36 hours ago, and somehow I'm in it. So now I have to say something, because one thing that I do value in Brazil, in the United States, on YouTube, is my reputation. Let's listen to this. And this is how Renata was doing some street interviews. Now, we can't sit there and expect to be equal to a native Brazilian woman. That doesn't even make sense. So maybe we cannot do what they do. That makes sense to me as a man. And this is not pointed at Austin. This is pointed to all the comments saying, hey, you know what? Oh, well, this person did it and that person did it. Gentlemen, lose that mindset. Lose that mindset. I'm going to tell the story real fast. Give me 30 seconds of grace. I told you all 2 years ago I got pulled over. I keep light and some type of veterans identification. Light meaning that some type of symbolism signifying that I'm a Mason on my vehicle. I got pulled over in the Commonwealth of Virginia. As a law-abiding, upstanding, tax-paying, well-spoken American citizen that happens to be a black man, at 1 o'clock in the morning, I was concerned enough for my life that I called my mother. And when that police officer came to the vehicle, I had my wallet sitting on the dash and my hands, palms extended, on top of the steering wheel with all the windows down and all the lights on in the car. No radio. Do you know why? Because no matter how I feel, the reality is there's a good chance that I could be treated differently just because of the color of my skin. The same applies overseas. Somebody hit me up and said there should be a code of conduct for men that travel overseas, especially.
Whoa. What did he say? Code of conduct, right? See, this is what we're saying. We're saying that there is a bit of an organized way to move about going to different places in different countries. You see that? You see that? Brother Jamel literally just said that. He said that in the chat. Okay. Now, I know maybe Jamel had seen this video, but he didn't know I was going to play it. But there you go. Again, understanding that there is a bit of a mindset. It's not a rule book that you'll get punished if you don't follow the tenets of travel. Not necessarily. There is a mindset that you want to have as you moving across the waters, especially if you don't have a military background, especially if you just a young one just coming straight out of the neighborhood that you're from, and now you want to start traveling. You don't have experience, you don't have mentorship. this is why we say certain things. Because from the military perspective, we see the same thing in the military. We'll see young soldiers will get out there amongst the locals of a certain place and make cultural mistakes. And they didn't think they was doing anything wrong. But now somebody's first sergeant, somebody's sergeant major, or somebody's commander is now having to go out and do some political cultural cleaning up because a young soldier was hard-headed. He made a comment or did a gesture action or did something that was a bit offensive to the people. And these are the type of things we talk about. All right. So let's keep it pushing.
Actually, black man. I replied back to him. He said this in the comment of the poll. I said back to him, I was like, dude, there is a code of conduct, but some people don't bother to figure out that not only is there one, but what is it? It's like buying a new electronic and not reading the manual. Anyway, let me play this. I'm not upset. It just bothers me that you can have every resource available to you. Here's where there's a problem. If this only happened to Austin, I probably wouldn't have said anything, but people got dragged into this and it just sucks, man. For those of you that don't know, let me show you this one first. Hinata and I met last year in April, okay? On my trip down there, I knew I wanted to shoot some content in Brazil. I reached out to a buddy of mine that lives down there, asked him to help me find some women that speak English.
Okay, so from this point, basically, he gets into how he met with Hinata, he met with Renata, stuff like this, and how they kind of started working together. Now, what El Wapo is showing you, probably without even really, saying it, what he's showing you is networking with the people. Wapo is showing you, okay, networking with the people, right? He went down there and he was connected to Renata. He was connected to her. He was just like, oh, okay, you're a correspondent. Let's do business. Let's work some things out. Let's figure some things out. Okay. These are the type of things that you're going to see happen. These are the type of things that brothers who make business moves, who have these type of mentalities, these are the type of things that you're going to see from them. All right. These are the type of things. They're going to show you how to move as a business mindset. Again, one master teacher, he also was telling you how he moves with a business mindset when he gets down there. He says, if I'm going to work with these certain females, we're going to set it up. We're going to bring in a couple models. We're going to let them know this is what we're doing. Give them a little something on the side, paying for their time. We're going to bring in Brazilian camera crews. Okay. Coach Grease, how he talks about it. Working with the Brazilian camera crews and stuff like this. You got to include the people in your moves when you're in their country. You don't want to go down there as just an isolated entity, especially an American making money. And that's one of the main points that a lot of people were saying is that the thing about Austin, it wasn't even about him being black. All right. Because if you look at Stephanie, they're the same complexion. This was about Austin being an American. Now then, I've said this before and I'll say it again. As a black man, you don't understand or you don't really feel what it's like, or you don't understand. You don't become an American until you leave the country. I've said that before. I stand on that point and I'll say it again. All right. Because in America, you're used to being an American, African hyphen American. You're used to being a subclass. You're used to being something less than a just straight American. Because we have all these hyphens and different differentiations and all this other stuff in America. Right. But when you travel, you become an American because you don't need to tell them you're African anything. Duh. They can see your descent. They can see your phenotype because they have it too. And if you're not somebody who travels, those type of things are going to come off to you like, well, that's odd. That's different. Not having to say that I'm black everywhere I go. See, that's the difference. Those are subtle little things that will add up in the long run on how you move. Because when you understand, when you get there, they view you as an American first. Now, the part of being a black American is when they look at you, they're looking at you to be like, the swag, the culture, basketball, Jordans, football, sports, those things. But the way they treat you is going to be like, you're an American. Okay. You're an American. Okay. And the thing about it is you got to move like you're an American now. And for so long in your own country, you've been treated less than black man. And you don't realize the damage that has been done to you until you go to a place that treats you differently. This is why the pull is so strong for black men, especially who travel. You have heard countless reports of grown men tearing up on their way leaving Brazil and other countries. And a lot of the subconscious psychosis behind that is, for the first time, you felt like an American. You felt like a man. You weren't treated as a subclass anymore. Your Africanness was respected. Okay? People looked up to you. People you didn't know showed you love. You didn't have to walk around with this demeanor. Oh, I'm this hard concrete. Oh yeah. I got my face frowned up. I ain't gonna let nobody look at me a certain way. I ain't gonna let nobody talk to me a certain way. For the first time in your natural black life, you were treated like a man. That's intoxicating. Which is why you'll see brothers like a Austin do whatever it takes to live in places like this. Talk to the brothers who travel. The experience and the information is going to be different. It matters how you conduct yourself when you go to these places, because you're going to be treated differently. And regardless of whether you like it or not, you reflect all of us. It's unfortunate. It's a gift and a curse. Because there are so few of us that travel, we also have an opportunity to keep good rapport when we walk around as black Americans in different countries. I'll tell you right now, I have heard it more than once that they feel the difference when a European comes down, a white American comes down, and when we come down. I've heard it. They said, "Oh, y'all are different. It's like y'all get it." A lot of times Europeans and hey man, y'all UK brothers, man, y'all be, or white guys, I guess, especially, y'all want to come down there and try to make them speak English. I've heard that more than once. But shout out to Chanel. I believe I'm pronouncing that right, Chanel Princess. It's a shame that you have to tell grown people this, and you'll know you are still going to get people to do what they want and make black people look bad, not just men, but also women. Hold on, I read that wrong. And you'll know you are still going to get people to do what they want and make black people look bad, not just men, but also women. Expound on that, Chanel Princess. Give me a little more information on what you mean by that. Give me a little more information on what you mean by that. Go ahead. Again, link is in the chat if anybody wants to get up and speak on this for a while, because on my channel, this will probably be the last time I'm getting into this, because this I told you, this dead horse has had his ass kicked a few times, and boy, it's like we going round and round. But the only reason I'm going back into this though is because the one to say passport bros ain't going nowhere. We've been here, ain't going nowhere. Can't stop, won't stop. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going nowhere. We still here, baby. All right. We ain't going nowhere. Right. So the thing is that with that mindset, I want to also show people what is being illustrated from the travel OGs. Okay. El Wapo being one of them. I've mentioned one master teacher. You know what I'm saying? I keep saying these things for a reason though, because some people need to hear it. Now I know we got our warriors out there, on different channels. They want the smoke. They ready for the chaos, burn it to the fucking ground. Yeah, I know you want the fucking red meat. All right. But for those of us who actually are going here we have to hold ourselves accountable in a different way. And I want guys to understand that it's not weakness to respect the country. All right. It's not weakness to respect the country. It's not. I know we feel like, oh, we've been attacked by a feminist. I know we feel like, oh, no, we've come under fire, attack back. But like I said, we move in silence on how we move. Okay. Strategic. Okay. Especially when, and I'm also going to bring this up, but first let me actually finish getting through this El Wapo's statements, because he makes another valid point that I want young brothers to hear. He makes it right about he talks about kind of being new to a different country as well. And I want to get into that. Hold tight. Let me get to it. I got it time stamped at about right in, let me see, 46, 44. You can go from here. Now, listen up to how Wapo's going to get into this. Check this out. Fair use, fair use. Go subscribe to Wapo if you ain't subscribed. No excuses, all right? Go support him. All right, check this out, guys.
Shout out to Raider Ben with the $10 super chat. I would talk to you or Grease to get advice and try to move in.
Hold on. Shout out to BMO, Coach Grease, getting the shout outs. All right. Shout out. You know what I'm saying? BMO, we in the building. All right. Coach Grease getting the shout outs. All right. Yo, let's go.
A discretionary manner. You can find a wife down there if you want. Absolutely true. And Grease, Al Grease, the filmmaker who did Frustrated 1, 2, and 3, is absolutely a fantastic resource to have. Let me address this right now. One of the things that we have a huge problem with in our community, and I'm talking about amongst Black people, is wanting something for nothing. And let me address this real fast. Outside of me doing the Ask El Guapos, where if you come up and you want a consultation, you know, if you're willing to do it live and provide me with some content, then I'm willing to do it. Okay. To a certain extent, you're still only going to get Greenbelt information live. Because the things that I really want to talk to you about and getting down to the nitty gritty, I just won't put on camera. 16 years going to Brazil, I talked about the limerence stage of being down there. I used to take a ton of photos. And then I learned, and then I stopped. And until I got to making content on YouTube, I hadn't taken a photo with females in Brazil very sparingly in like a decade. So being discreet in what you do is one of the huge things when it comes to Brazil. Now, that's different if you're a content creator, okay? And as a content creator, one of the things that you have to be very aware of is where you are. So a lot of people don't know this. In Brazil and in a lot of countries, one thing you definitely don't do is take any pictures or video of children without like permission from a parent or something like that. It's a huge no-no. You want to have a problem in Brazil? Do that. There's a movie, Turistas. I think they do that in the movie, Turistas, and one of the white ladies is going around, you know how, taking pictures with stuff, and she took a picture of a Brazilian kid, and all heck almost broke loose. So it's about the way that you move, man. It's about the way that you move. So thank you so much, Raider Ben. I really appreciate it. Let's give you the airstrike.
All right. Now y'all hearing that. Okay. Again, Awapo is going deeper into illustrating, understanding how you move in these cultures, in these places. Okay. And if you're a content creator, you have to be especially careful about posting up certain people, stuff like this. And I know some people will look at it like, oh, well, you know, we don't want the girl necessarily to get offended, or, oh, well, she don't want to be known because she got a boyfriend out there. Listen, it's deeper than that. This is real rap, real facts, no cap, right? It's deeper than that. It's more so if she feels the type of way, you're in her country. You don't know who she knows, and you don't want to get caught up in a situation where somebody could get legal on you. Okay. You don't want to get caught up in situations like that. right? You want to be careful. You want to be mindful of situations like that. All right. Getting into the chats a little bit. Let's see what we got. Chanel Princess says many black people travel too. They don't want to be classified in a negative way because of this incident. Yeah, nobody does. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be classified in a negative way, which is why Travel Brothers are doing the work. Travel Brothers are also getting out here making sure that we show contrast and not just make it seem like everybody's attacking Austin. First, we got to address that. And we have to show the difference between people who travel and people who don't. All right. Because what I honestly hear, sometimes I hear a lot of conflicting information between, well, basically guys who travel, guys who don't. Some guys who are a little bit more mainstream in manosphere type talks, not really so much on the passport side of the house. This is why now, as passport bros, we have to step up and make a statement, because this is our house. This is our business that we have to get in here and be the chaperones and not let it be painted in a certain light, because majority of us throughout this whole space are red pill understanding and stuff like this. But in the red pill understanding, you're taught to attack a certain type of way, which is why you have to adjust your red pill mentality when you start dealing with travel business, because you're not on your home turf anymore. The red pill mentality, oh, I'm going to boss up, I'm going to say this and I'm going to show this and I'm going to do that. You do that thing strategically when you're in a different place. You're more strategic about how you do a red pill, quote unquote, situation. Because most travel guys were red pill. We understand. All right. We know, we get it. But just like Pablo Frescobar would tell you, overseas is a little different though. You don't have to address certain situations the same way. Okay. Because the game is different overseas. Women deal with you different overseas. Okay. So you can adjust yourself accordingly. All right. Understand, a lot of men are red pill and they have their red pill mentality based off of their issues or things that they have come to know and understand with the sexual marketplace, or dealing with women, mating and dating. That's what all this is about for the most part, mostly, especially in the black manosphere. Those are the majority of the hottest topics, are going to deal with mating and dating, right? So understanding that when we're in that space of mating and dating, when we're in that space of red pill, and then we add in a little bit of travel, okay, you don't need to go down to a place like Brazil and be red pill Thor. And as soon as you feel a little bit slighted by somebody, shut up, bitch. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna disrespect me. I'm a man. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. All right. Because, well, first of all, you're not really usually going to be in situations where you even have to act that way. But as I've said before, these are the reasons why. BMO, our group, has a welcome dinner. We got legends in our group. Okay. If you want to slide over to BMT, Aaron Ferris, his group, legends over there. Hell, everybody zoom to Thailand, right? Yo, young Richie Mack. Okay. And I think El Wapo also made this point, is that especially black folks, man, it's like we want everything cheap, right? We always want the hookup, bro. We always want the discount, family, right? With our own people, especially, we want the damn discount, bro. When it comes to this travel business, don't try to do it cheap. This is why you'll never see me do Spirit Airlines or gang up with a bunch of niggas in the hotel room talking about we on vacation. Ain't doing none of that shit. All right? You being dusty, nigga. Afford your comfortability, nigga. All right? Don't be doing no dusty shit. All right? But what I'm saying, niggas always want the hookup, bro. Right? Respect to the ones who've come before you. You gonna pay for that plane ticket. Okay? Put a little money on investing in yourself invest in your knowledge. Okay. That's one thing that separates the classes, which we don't recognize in the black community, is classes. Oh, ho, ho. You a uppity nigga. You a different class nigga. Look at you. Okay. We can't separate. We hate to separate ourselves as classes in the black community. And one of the biggest ways to separate yourself as a class is to invest in yourself. Not invest in yourself by way of buying every goddamn new pair of Jordan that comes out. Invest in your mentality. Invest in your knowledge. And I'm not just talking about college here. All right. Invest in your future by way of becoming a smarter man. Read books, niggas. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Every entrepreneur across the world is going to tell you to start out first book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay. I'll give you more books. Purple Cow. Okay. About how to stand out the right way and how to use it and market it. Okay. I invested. All right. And if you don't have time to sit down and read books, because I hate that. I just can't put my face in the book all day. Can't do that. Okay. Audiobooks. Okay. Invest in yourself. Invest in your mentality. These are the things that separate you from people who are rich and poor. Those are the type of things that are going to separate you. Why? Because of this point. What's the difference between somebody who's a millionaire and someone who gets handed $1 million check? Anybody know? The minute that person spends $1 of that check, they are no longer a millionaire. A millionaire can lose all of his money and get it back. That's a millionaire. We're talking about mindsets, people, which is why it's so important to invest in your mentality, your mental health. Okay? Understanding how to move mentally. Black people are too worried about trying to be goddamn flashy and look like we got it. Wear symbols of having it. Symbology of, oh, I'm rich. Okay? 1,000 gold chains as I'm wearing chains. Yeah, I know. Right? Symbology of actually having it, and you ain't got shit because you ain't worked for shit. Because the work comes in the mentality of investing, all right, in this is what will make you unstoppable. And going back to our point, our main point with Austin is he had a mishap because of this right here. That's where he slipped. So this is why I will tell you, invest in the travel OGs that come before you. This is how we build the new black community. Oh, yeah. Because guess what? The new black community is going to be global, international. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying, there's going to be a lot more brown running around in these neighborhoods. I'm just saying, it's coming. It's coming. It's been decided. Sorry. It's been decided. It's coming. It's going to get way more brown. Sorry. All right. Because a lot of brothers are going to actually be moving their wives back to the States that they get from these different countries, or at least coming to visit, or if they got it set up right, be able to stay in the States for a while and then go back home. But that American teaching, or the American, say, dollar, or getting that child set up to where they can move financially with the American dollar will be paramount to that child's future. And you would be doing your child a disservice if you go international and you get an international woman and you don't teach your child the ways of the American dollar to where they can do as you did, right? And know how to bring that American dollar with them wherever they go. You'd be doing a disservice. All right. That's one of the advantages that you have, is being able to move that and then continue an international empire. Yeah. Right. So, you know what I mean? So I was in Brazil. I think I made a comment talking about having a tribe of mulatto children. I was like, yeah, it might happen. It might happen. You know what I'm saying? A lot of much browner me's running around with a little bit straighter hair. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, moving on, guys. Invest in yourself. Invest in your mental health, man. One of the biggest lessons that we're learning right here today. Um, let's see. Like Ms. Asha says, let them stay where they are. Hey, we can't save everybody. We cannot save everybody, and that's a big point. Um, you know how people lump all black people together? Yeah, they do. It's just a stigma of how it is, especially being in America. But once you get overseas and you get international, it's a much easier to control how people view you, uh, how you carry yourself, and how you conduct yourself, because they haven't seen that many. Usually, well, depending on where you go, they haven't really seen and contacted with a lot of black folks. So you have an opportunity to really make a good name for yourself, depending on how you carry yourself. She said, "What I mean is, they lump all black. Yeah, I know they do." She said, "Good." BMO said, "Yep, yep." We got Jamel around the road. Yeah, yeah. And then we got BMO. Yeah, reading is very fundamental. Get your knowledge up. So, like I said, guys, I'm gonna pin the link real quick. If anybody wants to come up, you can. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. But I tell you what, likes are free. Hit the like button. All right. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the like button and make sure you run it up in the comment section after the video is done, or run it up right now. Okay. Let your opinions be heard, people. All right. Let the feedback come in. All right. All right. And let it be known how you feel about this topic, man. All right. Um, I don't know if everybody's seen it, so I'm going to run into briefly. I'm going to go over when Wapo also spoke with Renata when he brought her up, so you can get a Brazilian woman's perspective about a couple things. And I want to make sure I'm at the right point. When they start talking about Austin, again, fair use, go subscribe to Wapo. But he was very solid and he came with the facts on this one. That's why I'm using him tonight. But pay attention. Let me see if I can, because I don't want to drag it too long. I want to get to where they speak on Austin and a couple things about how he went about doing what he did. Okay, never apologize. All right, so check this out. All right, listen to the perspectives. Check this out.
Brazilian people. An apology goes a long way, doesn't it, Hinata?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's
An open forum and an open platform. So A. LaRue says should have never apologized, to be honest. So here's my perspective on that. You literally have a woman in Brazil that Austin counseled with to find out how to salve over and smooth over what he's going through. And from the Brazilian perspective, and I know this about Brazilian people, an apology goes a long way, doesn't it, Hinata?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what I told him. I say, go into your channel, make a video, apologize with the Brazilian women's, because of course you have big, huge peoples in your channel, and
Right.
everybody able to see, especially when peoples in Brazil they see,
Right.
like my channel, it's for 400 people live out from Brazil. I want to show things in real, and it's many people from Brazil. They watch my channel. They complain why it's not subtitled.
All right, so quick point on that. Now, what's being illustrated right here is like the reason that you do apologize, because I've heard it. People just like the one thing, and even the comment that popped up, obviously on the channel, said the one thing Austin should have done was apologize. Well, when you look at it from their perspective, and this is what we keep saying, Renata is telling you no, he should apologize so the Brazilian people can understand he meant no harm. Again, it's not about how you feel. Okay. This is about diplomacy. Okay. This is about keeping good international ties. All right. This is more so a business thing than it is your emotions. Okay. All right. Hinata is saying, like, no, yes, I told him to apologize so the people understand that he meant no harm. All right. Because your American, we'll say ego, will get lost in translation and not get taken very well if you say stuff like, I don't need to apologize. Okay. Again, this better than me just saying No, he should apologize. Let me give you proof. Brazilian woman. Okay. She's got clout. She's got a channel doing her thing. All right. We you know, if you haven't subscribed to Renata, subscribe to her channel. You know, her and Stella, you know what I mean? Shout out to them. They do their work. I never met Renata, but I have met Stella. But you know what I'm saying? Go check them out. Let them give you more perspective as well if you're interested in how things work and how to move out there as well. All right. They're talking about it. The work is being done. Okay. But Renata can give you the perspective of Brazilian people and a Brazilian woman. And also explain a little bit of things that y'all were so, not y'all, but some people were so quick to hop on and be like, attack, attack, attack. And this is why I said, no, relax. Assassinos, brotherhood. We strike in silence. All right. And if we got to draw the blade, it's going to be in and out before they even know it. Assassinos. Yeah. So check it out. All right. We're going to get into it. We're going to go a little more. I'm not going to do this whole like freaking interview. I just want to hit a couple points when they started talking about understanding some of the contrasts in culture. And I really just want people to really get this and understand. So let's keep rocking.
Titles anymore there, you know, because they follow, they like, they love to see that.
Right.
So, and many people, Brazilians, they see his channel, they follow him also.
Right. So, to A. LaRue, you know, not beating up on you, you can say that this is war and everything like that, but if you don't understand who you are engaged with, then you don't understand how to handle it. I'm so glad when you told me today that Austin reached out to you. I was like, thank God he reached out to somebody that he knew in Brazil and could trust, and you pointed him in the right direction. And this is coming from, once again, a Brazilian woman who the whole article says that he was attacking, that he knows, okay, and that has an actual platform. And Hinata's no small channel. Her channel's not small. Let me tell you, this young lady, let me point which way. There you are. This young lady right here, her channel got 1,000 subscribers in 19 hours. That is impossible. It took me 5 months to get 1,000 subscribers. She did it in 19 hours. So she is a serious content creator. This is a business to her, and you can tell by the production that she's doing. So not only could she advise him from the Brazilian perspective, she could advise him from the perspective of a content creator operating in Brazil. So as much as I appreciate your sentiment, I will take her expertise over your opinion any day of the week. I think Austin did the right thing. Excuse me.
Again, see that point? All right. You see how, hold on.
Me.
Got to looking silly. You see how we tell y'all, all right, that, and I see you in the back. You see how that we tell y'all how to move matters. How to move matters. Okay. Because the way some brothers talk, their mentality would have just been burn it down on their way out of Brazil. And it's just like, no, you have to understand there's cultural differences here. Okay. Brazilians are very nice people. All of us will attest to that. But you don't want to start trying to flex on them and flex your American ego and act like you're the big Don Dada Americana. All right. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to move with that energy. Okay. That can be very detrimental to your experience. But as I see, we got some we have a guest in the back. So let me bring this down. We're gonna allow our guest to come up and speak. Hold tight. You.
Yo, what's good, Chris, man? What's going on?
Man, what's happening? Prayers. Good to hear from you, man. Good to see you.
Man, I was up here listening and getting into this Chipotle bowl, man. So you know.
Oh, some Chipotle. Oh man,
yeah. You know, I got to get my Saturday routine, you know, gym and Chipotle and then relax and stuff. But I I was coming out of the gym and I seen you were going live. I said I'm gonna listen to it while I'm getting this bowl down. But yeah, I mean, I've been listening in, and it's definitely a passport bro fatigue, and a lot of people, they just don't really grasp the concept of what's going on because it has evolved. It really has. I mean, it's gone from the incident that happened between Austin and Miss Ribeiro to now it's a attack on feminists in other countries. It seems like it just seems like an ever evolving thing, and nobody really sit down and has dissected what really happened. Bottom line is, like you said before, it's not your country. Guys that have traveled before, they understand this. They understand that it's not your country. And I heard you say something about the commander, and if you went in the military, we had that same briefing. In the Air Force, it was a first shirt. You don't want to do something where the first shirt has to come and get you out of jail or whatnot, and have to counsel you. So even guys in the military had a briefing. Plus, you had sergeants that had been there before to give you guidance and whatnot. So the mentorship has already been there. It's just recently that with the explosion of the internet, people think they can watch a video and go do that. And traveling is not one of those things that you can do. Mr. Austin, he made a statement and he just blew up. He went to Brazil, but he didn't have any tutelage. And he felt like he didn't need any because everybody was giving him all these accolades and stuff. And I know personally he was given good advice on how to handle the situation, and he didn't do that. So, the situation evolved, but now it's evolved because not only is it an incident with him, now you have the incident with Miss Ribeiro, anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being on Tanya TKO's video. So now she's expanding her horizons. Now she's trying to come over here and start stuff. And really, she stepped out of bounds because she's not prepared for the backlash that's going on here. Just as Austin wasn't aware of what was going on or his social awareness while he was in Brazil, Ms. Ribeiro didn't know her social awareness when she jumped on Tanya TKO. Because see, now you have the black men here that have been getting in her ass. So it's and passport bro movement, that's just a hashtag that caught on because it sounds catchy.
Yeah.
But it's been going on. I mean, 1953 Jet article talking about Japanese women being better wives. So this is not a new phenomenon. It's just now catching on because there are so many things that have happened in the United States between the male and female relationship dynamics, especially in the black community, whereas we've hit a pinnacle and now you're going to see a disbursement. And I think a lot of it boils down to the series of events, being COVID, being Kobe Bryant's passing, and then Kevin Samuels passing. I think all that stuff was the catalyst for passport bro movements, because it was like 2 or 3 weeks later when Austin made that statement on TikTok, and it just took off. And now you look at how it is now. I mean, he's a young guy, but everybody jumped behind him because the movement, black men that travel, was gaining momentum, and people took advantage of him being a rising star.
Yeah.
But nobody really advised him. Well, I take that back. People advised him. He chose not to do that. So he paid the price. He paid the price. And, it's all something that we're going to learn from. But at the same time, the OG vets understand what it is, which is why we gave him the advice that we did. So,
well, you're right, especially dealing with Stephanie. I mean, because she's trying to step over into these waters over here, and it's just like, even in that interview with Tiny TKO, she somewhat started to get caught up because they started to talk about the colorism thing, and she couldn't really answer the question straight, talking about, oh, so do you go after white men the same way, or do you have these same views? And even her husband was still sitting there talking about some, oh yeah, I was messing with white girls and stuff like this before her. And then they started talking about the who's brown and who's black in Brazil, who's considered black. And there's actually a lot of people who you wouldn't think would be black. They consider themselves black. So that's why I said the cultural understandings and how they carry themselves, how they think about themselves and stuff like that is a really big deal down there. You know what I mean? But like we've said it before, Austin did kind of bump his head a little bit, and these are the things that Austin is now, I feel like he's paying for. He's getting through it, but could have been avoided though. So but that's that dead horse that we keep kicking the shit out of. Mr. McGee, Mr. G, I see you in the back. How you feel about the topic, family?
Good evening, fam. You copy me?
Yeah, I got you, fam. We can hear you.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be on with two other veteran brothers. I'm an Air Force guy. Sounds like you're an Army guy, and the brother's an Air Force guy too.
Army,
most definitely.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah, man. It's been quite interesting. I've heard you talk about a few interesting subjects regarding to the traveling community, regarding accountability, being organized, having some. Because I've said those things in other areas pertaining to like chat rooms and things of that nature. I'm sure you're not in those kind of chat rooms, and it doesn't seem like they're well received as far as like when you talk about having some sort of basic guidelines. In the military, all the branches, we all go to some kind of basic training, even if the ranks and grades is like they're all different, and certain things are called by different names and stuff like that. But there is a basic training, So what is the basic guidelines that we could have in the quote unquote traveling community? I don't prescribe to the passport bro thingy for obvious reasons. Can we have some kind of like basic guidelines? And I think that may be a problem because I've been feeling the tone on a certain things. I feel like people may not welcome accountability because they don't know who wink they love that accountability may have to hit. So it gets to be it gets to be quite interesting these days, man, because I see a lot of people, and maybe even with me too. Maybe I've done it unintentionally, unconsciously. But a lot of people have been like contradicting themselves and things of that nature. People that sort of like they just support people and things of that nature, but they want to be showing they want to show you that they're responsible, they're big on accountability. Then it's like, you feel like they don't really want to do it all the way. And I just don't know, man. Like I said, if you travel by yourself. Just what I'm gonna tell people: if you travel, you've been traveling by yourself. I'm not saying stay away from people, but just be careful who you travel with and keep doing your thing. Because these past few days, I've learned a lot about the characters we have within the black male travel community.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah.
We do group trips though, and a lot of our group trips, we usually have guys from different backgrounds, different parts of the country, some of them different parts of the world, and we do organized events where we sit down and network, and we plan out certain things. But in the beginning of the event, and Chris can attest to this, we always have a briefing. And the briefing goes, you're a guest, you're an ambassador, conduct yourself accordingly, be humble, don't start any altercations, and just enjoy the experience. Because you really do have to give guys that type of briefing. Because you have to remember, a lot of the guys that are traveling now are not prior military. They don't understand things that we got naturally being in the military. That was just standard operating procedure. You going to another country, you're gonna get debriefed or briefed on how to move. You know, and I said this on the stream. You know, don't go out by yourself. 2 or more. Have a buddy. You know, and everything I just said. So when we give that briefing, I give it because I got it. And trying to instill that into people now, they don't really acknowledge it because they think that they're invincible, especially younger kids, or they think that you're hating on them. I mean, I sat on a panel with some younger guys and
I'm the number one hater, by the way.
Yeah. You're a hater. And I'm like, I'm not hating. I'm just telling you that you're a guest in somebody else's country. Just because you look at what they do in their country with your lenses doesn't make it right. And you don't have jurisdiction or the authority to say that it is. And they can't really get that around their heads because they're so caught up in she's a feminist and she's attacked Austin and he didn't do anything wrong. I was like, but that's not your country. And making comparisons to the white guy, or the white guys are doing this.
White man.
But you don't understand the dynamics in Brazil. See, it's not just like I got you. It's more so Brazil.
It's not black and white.
Yeah, it's not black and white. Brazil and you know, I've said it before. Brazil is at a point where a couple of years ago they were just now starting to go through their civil rights movement, and they started to identify themselves as Afro-Brazilian. For a long time, they didn't do that.
Yep.
And when you understand the social climate there, you understand things are changing. But if you don't have social awareness and you just go down there and you just go, yeah, I'm going down there and I'm gonna take pictures of women because dating in the States is so bad, and yeah, it's that bad. And I come down here and you think it's the same in Brazil that it is in the States, then you make mishaps and you mess up. But as far as having standards and guidelines, you're gonna have to have some dudes that are gonna have to fall flat on their face, and that's not to sound like a hater, but some people are just hard headed.
Yeah.
Do we wish bad on anybody? No, but with any movement, there's going to be some obstacles. There's going to be some bumps in the road, but we all need to learn from it. A lot of the vets already understood or understand the situation, and that's why we just step back and just say, "Hey, we'll let it and see how it plays out," because we know what's going to happen. You're not going to stop black men from traveling. The cat is out the bag. I just heard BGS say last night that passport application amongst black men is up 30%.
Damn right. Let's go.
So the door is opened. It's been kicked off. And what you're going to see is you're going to start seeing more and more black men, younger and younger black men that are starting to move. They're going to start,
and that's a whole different conversation right there in itself.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we got to be all hands on deck. If we call ourselves veterans or OGs, that means, okay, the youngins are coming, because like a lot of us have military experience. These kids are military age, right? We have the experience and we had to put in the work to work ourselves up in order to get to the point to where we could travel. And a lot of us coming from that background came with military experience and understanding. So now we have to treat these guys sometimes like young privates and let them know, like, hey, you're coming in, young soldier, airman, you're coming in. Now, guess what? These are the tenets, or these are the couple of things that you need to understand is coming in. Now, we got this kind of like in basic training and just being military. But if we had a couple tenets, I would say a couple things, and I just wrote them down over here. First off, and these are things that we learned in the military. Don't make yourself a target. That would be one. Okay. Have a guide, meaning you're under somebody's watch. Somebody knows you're there. Somebody's tracking you. What we would say in the military, have a battle buddy. Okay. And also, again, what we teach in the military, learn the customs. You need to learn the customs of where you're going. You need to understand what is offensive and what's not offensive, because you're going to get into situations where your emotion doesn't matter. Check your American ego at the door. Okay. That'll probably be rule number one. Understand
American arrogance.
Yeah, check that American arrogance at the door, because you got to understand, as a black man, and I said this before, we're used to kind of being and viewing ourselves in America as a subclass, African hyphen American, right? But like I said before, when we go to these countries, you're American. They almost view you in some ways on par as the white American, because you have to understand it's equaled out now that you go to a different country, because they don't completely understand what you go through every day as being a subclass in your own country. They kind of only understand it as being, they're Brazilians. We understand that y'all are black too, but we look at y'all as like the LeBrons and the Kobe's and the rappers, and y'all are so cool and swag and stuff like this. And of course they understand that we have struggles, but they don't quite feel it the same way we do, not to the extent that we would come down there and start acting kind of like assholes to them. They would be like, well, wait, why are you acting like this towards me? So that's why you got to be mindful of how you move, especially that more of these youngins are coming up. They're screaming, get your passports on high school buses and gyms. And I'm like, okay, all hands on deck for us. That means that we got more work to do. And that's why channels like these are so important. You know what I mean? That's why we got to make sure that we're holding the line and letting the young ones that are coming through that, hey, if y'all going to do this, we're going to show you how to do this the best and right ways.
Is there a way to sort of not really gatekeep, but to sort of have some sort of I don't want to say authority, but some sort of guide, set standard guidelines that people know that not that they should, but they could. You're encouraging. I mean, how do you do it? Because it's like the travel community is really like diverse, right? So it's not a monolith at all, right? From the guys who travel for fun, went the guys who travel for real dating, and the expats, right? So it's not a monolith at all. And within those groups, you got men that are traveling that, like, sometimes some guys call on a show or whatnot. They in a country, they're like, yeah, I'm in the country too, and they're giving another person, a YouTuber. I seen that happen on TaylorMade. They're giving the YouTuber game about a certain spots in that country thing, but they're not known. They don't have YouTube channel, none of that. You understand what I'm saying? So they're just one character that's out there. So then my question is like, I think that will be challenging, but I think the YouTubers will be the first one to do that. But the problem you have with the YouTubers, and as a YouTuber, I guess I'm speaking of you too, Chris. But with the problem you have with YouTubers, you have something that come into play, right? The monetization game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Making it about money. You
Versus
have to
knowledge.
Yeah, you would have to take, your morality, your own morality in the question, as far as what are you doing this for? I mean, are you doing this as to spread the knowledge to young ones that come before you? Because how they move is going to be reflective of you. Just like being an NCO, when I was in the military, I was an NCO, and my soldiers' moves were reflections of me. You know what I'm saying? If they do something stupid out there, you know what I'm saying, the platoon sergeant's looking for me. All right. First sergeant's looking for me. Well, first sergeant's going to look for the platoon sergeant, and then they both going to come looking for me. So, I mean, we understand how these things roll in the military. So it would come down to that individual person. It would come down to how they conduct themselves and what are they really in this for. If they're just in this for a money grab, I think that will show itself in time. And it'll be as a reflection of, because this is what we could track it easily. Let's just say that they go to Thailand and they start doing a lot of reckless stuff. We'd be like, and then so here we go, chain of command. If you want to think about it, it ain't got to be a real chain of command. You know what I'm saying? You could be like, somebody would get on the phone with Aaron. Somebody would reach out to Richie Mack, be like, hey, who is this cutting up down there in Thailand? What's going on? Oh man, that's such and such, da 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 da. And behind the scenes, we'd be like, yo, who brought him in? Like, who is anybody? Does anybody know him? Is anybody keeping track of him? Yeah, I heard he was listening to such and such. And so then the OGs will come together and be like, okay, we need to look at, oh boy, if he told him to do that. So that would be us having to deal with that YouTuber, all right? And then also bring in that young one to see if we could work with him, or if we just got to let him be a rogue agent.
Yeah, and the other brother, I'm gonna let you chime in on this too. But here's the thing that I want to throw at y'all. Now, I'm gonna come at this no filter. I don't want to drop too much names, but it's obvious. It is what it is, right? Um, The problem is when people move, I don't know if they even process these things or it's subconsciously people just go with the vibe. But when the vibe seems to be what seems to be the trend is that whoa, Chris went viral. Chris got 250,000 followers. Oh, Chris fresh trip to Colombia. Oh wow, and he got all those viral followers from TikTok. He's viral. His name is out there. So now, Chris, even though I've been going to Colombia for 15 years, Chris, you're now the expert on Colombia after your first trip to Colombia.
Nah, I'm not that guy. See, that's the
And
thing.
then a lot of people who on a cloud chase gonna
Yeah.
start messing with Chris because Chris got the numbers and things of that nature. Again, I know I might be totally hated for this, but it's obviously has happened here, and this is why I said I see a lot of contradictions because there's a lot of guys. I don't know how what the recent things that just happened. I don't know how this is a surprise to some guys. Like, how is this a surprise?
You know what? Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
I mean, I don't know why people that have traveled that are veterans, they're not surprised. They knew that was going to happen because they know how the youngsters act in the States. And now you had a guy that is in that demographic and he looks the part and started doing the things that he was doing. He wanted to be controversial and provocative and go into an away game, as we like to call it, and thinking that you can play your rules on their turf. I say it was just a matter of time. Just a matter of time because he felt like that he wasn't in the wrong. I mean, he even said in one of the videos that they can't arrest him for that. I was like, brother, you don't really understand how they do things. When you're overseas in somebody else's country and the United States doesn't have an extradition treaty with them, they can do anything they want to you.
Even if they have a tradition, if they break their laws, that's you got to pay
right.
You got to pay their time.
Right. Yep. Exactly. So, you know, and the whole thing about it is that you got a plethora of young guys that are running down here to Brazil. Let me rephrase that. There you have a lot of young guys and YouTubers that are running to Rio. They're not running to Brazil. They're running to Rio and specifically Copacabana.
They're one strip.
They're in Copacabana, Ipanema, Leblon, and maybe Lemmy. They go see Christ the Redeemer. Yeah, they maybe Central. Maybe Central to see the steps.
Central.
You know what I'm saying? And they go see Sugarloaf Mountain and Christ the Redeemer, and they're back to Copa. So
in the hotel.
They don't
on the beach.
Yeah. So
back to the
room. They're going down there for clicks and views. And when you tell them that, hey, look, if you want to be in this thing, you have to move a certain way. Nah, bro, you just hating. You don't know what you're talking about, man. I got more subscribers than you. I said, but I've been to more countries than you. And I understand what it really is. You just doing it because you're trying to monetize. We have dudes that are trying to do all three of the things that you said. Brothers that are looking to have fun, looking for wives or relationships, and looking to be an expat, and can probably find all three on one trip.
Yep.
But you trying to have a chain of command or some type of code of ethics, and you think they're going to adhere to it, I'm just going to be honest. It's not going to happen.
I want to see, but it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. That's why, you know, the joke that Chris Rock made about black folks and niggas, you're going to have the same type of separation in the travel community. And the ones that aren't built for this are going to fade away because everybody can't go and everybody's not built for it. And the same roadblocks that we have in the States, they got the same roadblocks overseas for you too. And they're real quick to put them on you. Yeah. They don't have no problem locking you up. You just go see that show, Locked Up Abroad. Trust me, they don't have no problem locking you up.
Yeah, Chris, I want to introduce something very pivotal to this conversation, but you go ahead, Chris. You know, in this whole piece that I just said, I want to introduce another factor that I see that's shaping this entire thing. The brother said Passport Bro is not going anywhere. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere, and I'm about to tell you one of the reasons it's not going anywhere, and it may grow or it may grow and become more have more toxicity around it, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes.
Okay. Well, to actually, so yeah, to speak on the question you asked me about, if I was, to say get the clout and I shoot up to, out of nowhere, I'll pull off some, 200,000 some subscribers, whatever the case, and now I become the aficionado. Well, that's the thing, is I would not become necessarily the aficionado. I would tell people who would ask me, I would have no issue deferring and say, I learned from X, Y, and Z. I'll put you in contact with X, Y, and Z. I would also bring X, Y, and Z. Case in point, well, perfect. Right, while Prez is right here. If I shoot up 500,000 subscribers out of nowhere, and I can look over and see that the BMO network channel is below mine or way below mine or whatever, and all of a sudden now I'm getting all this attention, whatever, I'm gonna bring in my network. Me and Prez already talked about it. We're continuing to build together. I'm networking. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm the head guru aficionado about the place I'm at. I'm gonna say I am networking with these people. I work with these people. I'm grouped up with these people. We work together. So if somebody wants to come to me on some business type stuff, or they're coming to me outside of people just giving me props and hey, salute to you, appreciate you do what you do. If somebody's actually coming to me on some business, or I want advice on we have Al Grease in our camp. We have the OGs, real legends in the game as far as travel goes in our group. And I have no issue saying, if Al Grease is wanting to talk to you, I got connections right here. You know what I'm saying? If Prez wants to talk to you, I got his number right here. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference on how you handle that. And once again, that's gonna come with the same mentality. The same person I'm at with the subscribers I have now is the same person I'm gonna strive to be, however far my channel goes. You know what I'm saying? 100,000, 300, whatever the case. I'm still not gonna lose sight of who I am just because I have more notoriety about it, which is where we can see our friend. You know what I'm saying? He made a couple mistakes. So, but yeah, to speak to your point, it can go toxic, but there are barriers in place. A lot of these brothers, they're going to be probably weekend warriors. They may touch down, weekend out, get down there for a few days out, because the thing about it, and even the OGs will tell you, it's not easy to consistently travel like that. Don't get it twisted. Brothers who travel like that are not dusty. Brothers who travel like that have they stuff together, and they have set up their network or their environment in a way to where they can frequently travel and or live outside the country for months upon a year. Ain't no regular dudes doing that. Okay, there are levels to this. Go ask Marty. There are levels to this, even within brothers who travel. There's levels to this, so it can start to shift and have more new guys come in. But as long as the safeguards are in place, as long as the OGs are around, there's always going to be a counter narrative. If we just have a complete rogue agent traveling, talking this, there's always going to be guys like us, guys like Prez, guys like 1MT, guys like Pablo Frescobar, El Wapo, you know what I'm saying? BMT, Zoom to Thailand. There are always going to be guys in place who can say, look here, this is not what we talk about. This is
Here's
not
the
what
problem, Chris.
Go ahead.
Here's the problem. First of all, there aren't real I see there's a lack of ethic amongst the OG travelers slash YouTubers.
Okay.
I don't need to go into details, but you'll see why I'm saying that. Somebody going viral and they got the numbers. Instead of that person being humble and be like, no, when I went to my first trip to Brazil, I watched Drees, or I watch Chris, I watch Black. What's his channel called? Black Brazil Today, or
yes,
yeah, Black Brazil. By the way, that brother, I love that brother. Had a piece today, very intellectual, the deep, extreme nuance. He contextualized the extreme nuance of the colorist system from the global, what you call it, the queen of the carnival, Beleza, Globaliza. So like he breaks it down in depth, extreme nuance of what's going on in the culture, from articles, things that was written, things that happened, events, outcry that there were when they had a different carnival queen that was dark skinned, and how they cuss her out. Like he know that extreme detail and things of that nature. See, when you have youngins, they come in with their little numbers, and they're not willing to be like, nah, no, guys, that was my first trip. I learned everything from Chris. I learned everything from Yes Jonas. I learned everything from Drees. I learned everything from such a person. They don't, when the person doesn't do that, and then those older individuals, they're so thirsty for clout, and they jump in their stuff and they validate that guy. Like, how you turn around, and this is exactly what I'm saying. There's a point of contradiction I see a lot of these guys are doing, and they need to be very careful, because they're gonna make a fool out of themselves. Because y'all came here, y'all know the dude had one trip to Brazil, and y'all validated him with the stamp of approval, with y'all so thirsty to jump on his channel or whatever, and things of that nature. But nobody said, hold up, bro, pump the brake a little bit. What do you know about the colorist situation in Brazil? What do you know about the blacks in Brazil?
Well,
Nobody.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead, bro.
I'm going to say probably nobody said anything to him publicly because of what you just said. Everybody saw a rising star, and they wanted to hitch their bandwagon to it for their own selfish reasons. But I know personally, behind the scenes, there were some brothers that talked to him about some of his content, the way that he was doing it, and he chose not to ignore it.
Putting the girls on camera, all that.
Right. So that's why I was saying about. That's what I was saying about.
What's that you said, Chris?
Having a code of ethics, and having the young people adhere to it, because they're not going to adhere to it because they didn't grow up in a situation where they had to have some type of discipline or some type of boundaries that they had to maintain. They don't do that. They're open. They're going to say what they want. They're going to share what they want. And if you say something, then you're a hater. That's what's in their mind. And they take that same ideology with them overseas. And you're right. None of them know anything about the culture or the colorism or how the Afro-Brazilian women were shamed for a long time to wear their hair out. They wouldn't even wear afros. This is just a recent phenomenon. I mean, for me, the reason why I stumbled upon it was because I was doing some work and some research on developing skincare products, because there's a brother that lives in Salvador, and he was saying that like, yo, there's a huge need for Afro-Brazilian products, skincare, hair care products geared towards their hair, because all their products are made for white Brazilians. That's it. And then when you start researching that, you start seeing the struggle of what's going on there. And I had 2 Afro-Brazilian women literally sit me down on the beach and gave me the entire rundown. So, but that's because I chose to educate myself, because I was looking at that as being a destination for me to relocate to. But most of these guys, and I've said it before, a lot of these YouTubers are doing nothing but thirst trapping. They're thirst trapping for views, because they're being disingenuous about
well said
moving to Brazil or moving overseas, or how are you going to do it. Because even in one video, Austin just said, I moved to Salvador. I'm like, how?
I was like,
on
yeah,
a tourist
how?
visa. Yeah, like, how did you move to Salvador on a tourist visa? Do you have a CPF? Are you on a retirement visa, or do you have a student visa? What's going on?
CPF, a quick. I don't want to stop the topic for education, but a CPF, is that some sort of cedula or ID card number or social security number?
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. A CPF is a tax number that allows
What,
you to
the,
make certain
rent
purchases in
apartment,
Brazil.
get your lights.
No. Now to rent an apartment, you could do minimum stuff with a CPF. But when you want to start talking about open up a bank account or start doing business in Brazil or things of that nature, you got to have that residence number. And that's a totally different process. There are different ways that you can get that. But for you to just be in Brazil 6 weeks and say, I moved here, no, you didn't move there, brother. CPF is the minimum. You can't even buy a SIM card for your phone without a CPF number. They
can't
won't
even have
sell
certain apps. Yeah, certain apps you can't even use unless you got CPF.
Certain apps.
Right.
Yeah. I think was it not Rappi, but I believe one of the food services. I think if I'm trying to remember, either it was
they have a local food service. You have to put your CPF number in.
Yep.
Oh, so they can monitor the taxes and everything.
Yes. So those are things, those are little nuances that you just know if you have people that live there or people that have open businesses there.
So I wonder if I go into a certain people's channel and I really want to be, I want to move to Brazil. I wonder if I will find information on how to get my CPF, guys.
Well, most dudes just aren't interested in that because of what Chris said. They're just there for the weekend. They're just there because of the video that they saw somebody post with some bunda on the beach, and they like, I got to get it.
Yeah,
that's all that is.
Yeah,
I mean,
mesh.
They feed a bunda and they just lose it.
So half of them don't even know what a CPF is.
Yeah. They're like, what's that? That's what I'm saying. It's like nobody talks about these things, and a lot of black men that are traveling don't really care because they're just going someplace for greener pastures, which is cool. But at the same time, understand where you're going, even if you're not going there, because we've had guys that have gone on trips and decided that, yo, I really like this place. Like, we just came back from South Africa, and for me, I like Johannesburg.
I definitely got to hit South Africa.
Yeah. Even though it has its flaws, it still has its pluses too. So those are things that you encounter when you're there. You meet people that live there. You make connections and stuff. But these young guys, they just aren't going to do that. They aren't going to hear to it. And you have a lot of YouTubers that are trying to ride the coattails and trying to push this up and make it an issue. I mean, I heard a YouTube guy say, yeah, like, yo, he's making more money on Passport Pro videos. So that's all he's making now. Even though he's not a Passport Bro. I've heard guys, I've heard guys that have been pushing Passport Bro type material for over a year and a half, and they just now left the country this year, their first trip. But that's what you've been pushing. So you have a lot of YouTubers that are disingenuous about the content, and they're speculating based on something that they think they know, but they've never traveled. So, and nobody really wants to hear about the little nuances that you may encounter when you travel overseas. Only thing they want to see is that it's out of the matrix, and they have more attractive women than we have here, and that's what I want. But they take that they take that ignorance and dysfunction with them when they go, and when you do, this is what you get. That's why I said there's levels to this, and I'm telling you, you're gonna see a separation, because if they let this thing continue to go on and everybody keeps pushing Passport Bro,
they're gonna blow up the spots.
The hashtag, and if Miss Ribeiro gets the people in her country to side with that and pushes it out to where they want to make Austin a martyr and have him arrested and deported back to their country, then it could get very ugly. People don't think that far. Right now, people aren't looking at
You're saying if you get deported, what the Americans will be mad and do what? Can you explain that to me again?
Hold on. He's not in America. He's in
No. That was
Thailand.
a scenario you played out.
Oh, yo, no, no. The scenario is okay. So scenario, he's in Thailand right now. He has made several videos, let everybody know he's in Thailand. Brazil and Thailand have an extradition treaty, which means that if Brazil decides that they want to put some type of charges on him pertaining to sex tourism, and they issue a warrant for his arrest and issue it to Interpol, we know that he's in Thailand because he's done videos there. The Thai police will pick him up and ship him back to Brazil to face charges that they deemed that he broke their laws while he was there. See, people aren't talking about that. People aren't talking how big this could be.
I mean, I don't. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm not. I don't fall in the group of. He didn't do nothing wrong, automatically. I mean, though, if you ask me, I will tell you he didn't do anything wrong, from the black and white perspective. But as Chris and many other brothers have explained well, it's not really from a black and white perspective. Did he break such and such law? Or, I mean, did he do something wrong? It's not from the black and white perspective. It's a lot more nuanced than that.
Yes.
But even from that perspective that I have, where I'm not totally like gung ho defending him, I mean, I know that was a scenario, but like you said though, these these foreign countries, man, worse have happened before. So it could kind of happen, but I don't see it getting that far. But it could kind of happen, and it will be quite interesting.
Why? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I said, the worst case scenario if something happens, and I don't think that's going to happen. But you have to remember the climate in Brazil right now. Nobody is really talking about that either. They're 50-50. They just went through a very close election. Bolsonaro is in the States, so that lets you know how much tension is in Brazil right now. They had people that stormed the Capitol in Brazil, and you have a budgeting a feminist movement that is trying to get their foothold and gain political power. So all of this stuff is coming out, and you're right. The Black Brazil Today, he does have an article where he talks about, which I just 52% of men, black men support feminism, and women support feminism in Brazil. Now,
52. You say what's the number? 52% of men support
52% of men and women, black men and women in Brazil support feminism.
See. Can I get like 15 seconds? And this is why today I watched Black Brazil Today video. I was like, wow, why the fuck aren't they promoting this brother around the space, man?
Well, see, hold on. Now, Chris will tell you, we were just there. We did a group trip there in November of 2021. And we were talking about it amongst ourselves then, that the Afro-Brazilian women were starting to act like the American women.
Yep.
I mean, they really thought they were Beyonce and Cardi B and Meg the male horse.
I've seen it in Colombia. I've seen a bit of it in Colombia too. Because I mean that's my stopping ground. But you guys have seen it from your stopping ground too. And I mean, there's so much that could come out of this conversation in the latest news, but I feel like this whole thing is not going to be the beneficial of the actual work and education that could be exploitative education that could get done, to bring guys up to speed and actually learning and seeing and understanding things. Because what happened is, a lot of people are approaching, and I'm gonna tie this into what I wanted to say earlier. A lot of people are approaching this, with the super red pill perspective, because a lot of guys who travel, seem about 90+% of the guys that travel, they seem to have been red pill. It's very, very, very rarely do you meet a guy that travel, especially black man, that's not red pill, right? So a lot of guys, they seeing it and viewing things from the American red pill rage perspective. You cannot go over there with that. Now, I'm not saying don't leave the red pill behind, because female nature is consistent in every country you go.
Yeah.
But you cannot view things through the lenses you view it in America, in those other people's country. And then another thing I feel like, because you guys talk about the quote unquote the movement, there's a lot of these gender war, red pill gender war guys who very recently never even supported the passport movement.
Yeah.
But now it's very quite convenient for them to jump on the train so they can, mix their message within the whole passport, bro, and traveling kind of thingy. And that's the piece right there that I hate.
Yeah. Well, they'll go ahead and speak on what you're saying, Mr. G. I mean, because you brought up about, different personalities and different people that may come up into the space and that may, influence the space in certain type of ways. Things like that could and probably going to happen, but we have to be mindful of who we are and do our best. I mean, nothing is 100% fail-safe system or situation. Like, we can only do our best to advise those who are willing to listen, who are willing to play ball. And I think everybody on this side of the house will tell you, and I've heard it before, shout out to Ed, you don't go, red pill for American women to go overseas and be blue pill for international women. You know what I mean? You don't lose that mentality of understanding. But like I said earlier in the stream, I said you don't go down there trying to be red pill Thor. Like, you don't need to be going down there smacking and banging your hammer around as though you gotta flex your chest and be Mr. Americano about everything and talk about how you ain't gonna be disrespected, this and da. It's very, very small, small
Exactly.
nuanced
Yeah, it's
situation.
a different, dynamic. You know how we throw
It's different.
the whole simp thing around a lot. You can't be like, oh, I'm not gonna take a trip, check high, because in the States, all they do, they give you a foodie, they going to food you, or they're gonna food me in Brazil. When in those culture, in the Colombian culture, in the Brazilian culture, in the Dominican Republic, these cultures are romantic cultures, and I'm not saying leave your red pill shit behind, but the thing is, if you get stuck on what's the thing they call it, autopilot, and you can't disengage and modify according to the place you are based on the knowledge that you have, then you're gonna get screwed. And it's the same thing that we've been seeing happen, because there was a guy from Brazil, from Portugal, Fatty. And I don't know if you were consistently watching the brother when he first came out.
Yeah, I
Fatty
know
was
about
trying. Fatty was trying to beg him, please, please, my brother. We got Brazil. We got a feminist in Brazil, but people didn't want to listen, and that's the other piece for me. I can never get, because when I go to Colombia and a native tell me, "Hey man, be careful, man. When you see these motorcycles, if you go to the drugstore, if you go to the market, you see motorcycle, whether the motorcycle got one man or two men on it, be very careful. Always keep your eyes on them." And this is what a Afro Colombiano told me in Colombia. And guess what? I was on super high alert for the motorcycles. I'm not gonna say, man, screw you, because he know the culture. Now, how can somebody who know and understand the culture tell you about the culture and you like fuck him? How can you do that?
Man, they do it all the time. That's what I'm telling you. It's hard headed, soft behind. They don't believe it. Dude, at this point in the game, you just going to sit back and see who gonna crash into that wall, because they don't think it's real till somebody get locked up. That's what it's gonna take. And I'm not pushing that on anybody, but you can't tell them nothing. They don't believe anything until them doors close shut. And when you in a foreign country, man, you even worse, because you ain't got nobody. So you either gonna listen and learn from the OGs, or you're gonna go out there and you're gonna make some mistakes. And trust me, it's just not the younger guys that are traveling. There's some OGs that do the same thing too. They stuck in a position of arrested development. They don't want to hear nothing. I know dudes that been going to Brazil for 30 years. They still don't speak Portuguese.
Damn.
That's sad.
You've
been going to a country for 30 years and you don't even speak the
Hey
the language.
man, I remember first time I was not first time, but first time I saw a YouTuber that because I knew he was a traveler, and I'm watching him on the beach in Cartagena, and the easiest word to say, because because recently while I'm in Colombia, I told these white guys that, right, I'm buying some bracelets, and they're like, how much? I'm like, come on, guys. I'm like, come on, guys. That's the easier word to say in Spanish. ¿Cuánto? It's the easiest word. And this guy is an established YouTuber on Cartagena Beach. And he's asking and trying to carry on English conversation. How much is for the jet ski? How much is, I'm like, what the fuck? So this guy doesn't even know how to say cuánto, and he's been to multiple Spanish countries before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's miscommunication. That's the thing, is that a lot of them come down with like arrogance. Like I was talking about earlier about, I was kind of jumping on the UK a little bit, but I've been told from different Brazilian people I've talked to, one of my homies who works at the tattoo shop, shout out to King 7 Tattoo, you know what I'm saying? He was telling me about how he'll have different people come down there, and usually it's the Europeans that come down there on some just like not even really trying to even formulate the language. They're just trying to like go at them and speak to them and like start getting louder and like in English, and they're just like, don't understand, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I've tell people before, simple words, understanding some of the basic customs, you know what I mean, understanding that they have greetings of the day, you know what I'm saying, they, bon dia, boa tarde, and boa noite, you know what I'm saying, how you address people at certain parts of the day, your highs and buys, you know what I'm saying, oi, ciao, different stuff like that, qual se nome, you know what I'm saying, você tá no WhatsApp, just common things to kick to people. You kind of just, and it don't take long to really get the basics. And then I say, to me, what really started getting me acclimated more was when I started ordering food in the language. That's another thing, because when you start dealing with like business type transactions, those are some of the things that'll help you pick it up quicker. Because like you said, when you talk about how much cost and stuff like this, cuántos custa para necklace or whatever you're trying to buy, you know what I'm saying? And you'll pick up certain things like that, like just a basic phrase, like if you want to order something and you don't know the word or what you call that food, if you have a menu, if you understand the basics of I want to order, or yo quiero pedir, I want to order whatever, I want to yo quiero pedir un sanduíche de frango e batatas fritas e bife, you know what I'm saying? E Sprite também, you know what I'm saying? So basically, what am I saying? I want to order a chicken sandwich, steak, whatever.
Oh, I heard it was sandwich.
Right, you know what I'm saying? I want to order a Sprite, you know what I mean, as well. Just to, like I said, the basics, because everything, once you start getting the phrases, right, everything else kind of just be vocabulary. So vocabulary,
Yep.
Your vocabulary. So when you start really knowing your basics as far as phrases, how
phrase
to
building,
ask questions, right, then everything just becomes vocabulary, and then you're just like, como se dice isso, and you can say it in English, correct you. Because if I didn't know how to say something, I could be like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, que muffin, and they'll tell me what it is in Portuguese or whatever the case. So that's why for me, first kind of rolling alone, but being educated on how to properly move alone helped me out tremendously, because now I can start putting things together. And when you start putting yourself in situations where you have to learn a language in order to move, in order to travel, in order to do things, you'll understand. You start having small conversations, and it'll go a long way, because for them as an American, you come down there and you're speaking just bits and pieces of their language. They're gonna want to help you. They're gonna coach you. They're gonna like, oh yeah, no, say like that. So it's gonna go a long way, family. It's gonna go a long way. So those are the basic things that we teach brothers, and we try to keep them involved like that. So the knuckleheads who come around, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be chaos, but all we can do is do our best to be chaperones to the best of our abilities, and just let things play out naturally, but also be accountable for who we are, because we can only be so accountable for somebody else if they choose to fail.
Yeah,
So
yeah, quite interesting, man. Yeah, to respond to your question, I don't think Passport Bro will. This is the end or whatnot. I think it will, due to the news and things of that nature. More people will, and I think the recent happenings sort of, it's been kind of eye opening. I don't know what sort of social media platform you hang out on or you go to, but I've been over there on Clubhouse, and they've been milking just this conversations for the last, I say, probably this last entire week, and
yeah,
the last
I
couple
hate.
of days, it's been quite eye opening to like see people be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, me. I'm a Passport Bro. I've been a Passport Bro since." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa,
What?
really?" I'm like, "Wow." Now I know, like I'll tell you, like brother, no excuse. He was there, whatnot, but he did say something that I didn't know myself. But some of you guys may know that he, I guess, copyrighted the word Passport Bro. That I didn't know, but that
Pending,
still doesn't mean. Go ahead, bro. What you said?
pending,
Yeah, it's pending.
Pending? Oh, it's
pending.
pending.
It's
Yeah, it's
pending.
pending. He doesn't. It's not fully his.
It's not fully approved.
Right. It's not fully approved. It's only matter of fact. I think it just got to the examining attorney. So he
It's
still got
in
a couple of ways to go. He got a couple more steps to do. So
the process.
Oh wow! Like that's kind of interesting in itself, and and you don't know who's lately been trying to get ahead and do stuff. But even
yes,
with him, if he copyrighted, what does that mean? He doesn't mean that he developed it, he crafted, he come up with the definition. And I didn't know there was a definition to Passport Bro till like this week. I'm like, really? But and that definition was just put like less than 6 7 months ago, like in June July of 2022. So that's around, with the recent noise we've been having, Passport Bro. So it's quite interesting. So there's gonna be a lot more people getting into this, doing this. But as Chris said, man, traveling is not easy, man. Trust me. My goal is to make my exit out of the States. Um and right now I'm stuck in the traveler mode, and even to muster of the strength, being a working professional, get ready, book your ticket, you go, and then when you go there, you don't want to see one city. You're on vacation for 2 weeks, you want to see multiple cities, and by the time you travel back and forth within that country, how people say you need a vacation for your vacation. By the time you get back, especially if you go far like Brazil, by the time you go way over there, you need a vacation for a vacation before you go back to work and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah,
quite draining mentally, psychologically, financially, and physically to travel. But there's gonna be some more people. With that being said, it may not be as much as I think, but there's gonna be some people. And it's gonna be quite interesting to see, because people seem to be big on showing receipts, and these receipts things, they're gonna get us in trouble. Because I've seen some videos this week, man. I tell you what, they're cringy as fuck on a specific channel that I shall not name. Um, Even though that person, I'm not a fan of that guy, but you have to admit some of these videos, man, they're quite cringy. Guys got to stop doing this shit. Imagine a bunch of new people get into this thing. The guy's gonna end up blowing up spots.
well,
yeah,
that's what I was saying earlier. Is that you're gonna have a separation, and people that are want out here, they want to clout chase, they want to put up receipts, and do things and think there's no repercussions on it. All I'm gonna say is look at Bill Cosby and look at R. Kelly, and if you think that they can't do it overseas with the United States backing some of these people, they will do it because it paints a picture and it does what it's supposed to do. It makes people afraid of black men traveling, and that's all it.
facts.
That's all it is. But
Yeah,
it's not going to stop. Brothers that understand what it is are going to continue to move, and those are the men that the community needs, and that though the community is no longer going to get back because they're gone. The real threat with Austin's demographic is that you have younger kids talking about getting passports. So that's a problem, because you can't stop masculinity from not moving forward. You're not going to stop it. And to me, this is just what it is. It's another form of black men leading the way that are moving away from the United States, and masculinity with it, because that's for you to pick up and travel is a masculine thing, regardless of what nobody else says. You doing all that stuff. I mean, you're exploring. That's masculine. So, and then if you go someplace where you find a culture that works for you and you settle in, that's masculine. And then if us as American take our ideology into some of these cultures where they're trying to disrupt it and get them on the right track, then that's going to cause even more problems.
Facts.
Yeah, there's so many things that could branch off from us traveling. And I just give you a quick example. We were in South Africa, boarding a plane from Cape Town back to Johannesburg, and we were in priority boarding. So my colleague and I, we were the only two black people in the priority line. No big deal. We paid for priority tickets. So we're walking down the line, and there is a black woman from Cape Town. She yells out, "This is the priority side." Okay. Nothing really out of the way. At least to me, it wasn't. But I noticed everybody in front of us was white. And she just let them come straight on. Once she got to us, she wanted to see our tickets. And I asked her right there in front of everybody, I'm like, why didn't you ask them white guys for them tickets? See, they think you're African until you open your mouth.
Yeah.
And then her eyes got big. And I told her right in front of everybody, I said, it's a damn shame you a slave in your own country. Because you asked everybody else you let everybody else walk by and then ask for their ticket.
Yep.
But you want to ask me and my friend for our ticket? And I know why. Oh, no. It's not the sweetheart. It's okay. It's a damn shame you a slave in your own country.
And I don't want to hijack your story, but maybe I'm playing devil's advocate here. I can kind of understand, because I've had the same thing happen to me too in Turks and Caicos. I can kind of understand. The reason I'm saying I can kind of understand and I want to give her grace is that it is so natural, because it's like, I guess most black people may not have the funds to access that kind of event or whatnot. So it's like, it's so ordinary to see a white people.
Yeah, I would say that in the United States or maybe in Brazil, but not in Africa. And see, that's another misconception that they think people in Africa don't have any money. Trust me, people in Africa, especially South Africa, got a lot of money. That's another lie that people have been telling.
Way more money than us.
Exactly, way more money than us. So the fact that you didn't see. The fact that you didn't see it. I mean, me personally, I didn't give her a pass, because I watched her, because I'm watching everything. That's just my habit. That's a habit, military. You just get used to doing it. So, but my point is that you're not going to stop black men from traveling. You still have people that are brainwashed. They're not used to seeing black men travel, and they're damn sure not used to seeing black men travel in groups of 10 or more, because now you're doing something that is not done when you're not a professional football team or a professional athlete, whatnot, but it's 15, 20 of you traveling and moving. Trust me, when you walk through these airports, they take notice. They want to know who you are. You walk into a restaurant, they want to know who you are. They want to ask,
who are those guys?
Exactly. And everybody wants to know. And that's what, and to me, that's the power of traveling in a big group of people that understand what it is. Not with a bunch of knuckleheads that are just going out and having fun, but understanding what it is and how you move and how the rest of the world sees you. Because before Brazil got into this big feminist movement, their civil rights movement was going strong, and they were taking their lead from us. And the driver that used to pick us up, he would bring his son with him to pick us up, so that he could show his son that there are black men that look like you, that are successful, that are traveling, and that are doing it, and we would be inspired. He would be inspired by us, and that's the way I take it when I travel to these other countries. Even in Africa, they say welcome home. They want to know. They want to ask questions. It's the same thing. It's even more questions asked, because you talking about Brazilians or Colombians don't meet Americans. Well, probably outside of the tourist areas, but Africans, you'd be surprised how many Africans meet Africans on the continent, African Americans on the continent.
Yeah,
I mean, we had little kids that ran up to us, and the guy had to tell them that he's like you, because he's like, no, you're not like me, even though we had the same complexion. So it's just so many different things that.
Yeah, because their mind is set up, and this is why I said maybe you can gotta give that sister grace, and I know you did. It's not like you're trying. You was like, I'm gonna make her lose her job. None of that. You didn't say that, but
No.
Yeah, it's just a natural instinct that an American, when they close their mind, close their eyes, they automatically, when you say an American, you know what they're thinking. In their mind, the template of what an American is a white man or white woman.
No, they get a
Not
hefty
all,
dose.
not all, but
yeah, they get a hefty dose of us. One thing about us is that, and I've heard this from numerous countries, you can't duplicate the energy that we give off when we enter a room or our presence. And I've heard women in other countries say Africans tried to pass themselves off as African American. He said, but we know better. It's like they just don't feel like you do. And
yeah. You can't pretend that. But what I was trying to tell you is that, like, it's not that they don't know. Obviously, they know who Tupac is. They know who Michael Jordan is. It's not that they kind of. It's just that their mind is not set up on the point that they're just gonna run into an African American or a Black American in their village today. Or which, it depends where you go. If you go south, I guess it depends where you go in Africa, whatnot. Because I guess if you go Johannesburg, that's a pretty modern city. I'm sure they see plenty of Black Americans all the time. But we're talking about like village and stuff.
Well, yeah, village stuff, I could see that, but we were in the airport. I mean,
yeah,
you working in the airport, that's an international airport at that. No.
Yeah.
You
also, gentlemen, shout out Mr. G for the donation, family, on the Cash App, bro. I see you, G. I'll go ahead and give you flowers, man. Appreciate you for supporting, bro. Appreciate the Cash App, G.
Yeah, I don't know why he was saying. I was like, did I type it right? It's saying pending.
No,
I'm
I
like,
got you. I'm just letting
need to cancel it before I go to somebody else.
Yeah, I got you, man. Appreciate you, bro.
No problem, fam. Yeah, man. It's I just hope guys keep on traveling, but at the same time, approach it with a more positive attitude and things of that nature, because you do have some natural detractors whenever they hear black men, and this is way before all of the recent news, right? I mean, we've had a few things here and there that happened in the past 3-5 years, but nothing as big as this with the virality, how the young man went viral, and now this whole thing. There's always been detractors, and many of the detractors, Chris, they were guys, and again, I'm gonna come back to that, and I'm gonna keep clapping on this, because this is a fatal error I see guys doing, even traveling YouTubers that do travel content. I see them try to marinate manosphere is just that. And it's not I'm saying anything bad with the manosphere right now, but it's just I know where it's going to go, because within the manosphere you have different segments who hate the constant. It's like on autopilot, the constant whining about women and not enough work in building and actually doing things. And travelers are, well, from what I thought. That's what I used to think, right? That some of us were like, you know what? We know about the problems, we know about the gender war, but you
Yes,
know what? We know we can't do nothing. We're moving on.
you're right.
So for
Yes,
some people to sort of spin back and try to marinate that and cook it and try to put that it within that, put traveling within the gender war kind of thingy and whatnot. I don't think it plays well for us because it's a lot of people. They're not they're not for the quote unquote movement to, they don't mind traveling movement to grow, but the thing is they're grifting through the traveling movement to push their gender war content to grift that way, but they're not even travelers.
and Mr. G, you're right. Now I want to speak on that real quick because the thing is, it's just like I also make it a point on my channel, and there's other traveler channels. Most of us don't do this. Most of us are not in it to go back and forth with women here in the States. Most of us don't do that. Austin did kind of catch a wave off of that because honestly, his content did kind of jump out in the beginning about that. But as I say on my platform, one of the things about us is we have observed the situation. We understand what the problem is, and we've made our decision. Like brothers will tell you, we voted with our feet. We voted with our passports. We say we're done. We're not really sitting here fighting with y'all about why we're traveling and why we're moving around. We kind of leave the whole debates and fights and all the panel back and forth stuff. Most of that we just leave to the Black Manosphere General dudes. Oh, Mr. G dropped off. But most of that we leave to the Black Manosphere General type guys who that's honestly that's kind of their niche. Okay, he's back. That's kind of their niche, is to really, you know, go at it, really go back and forth with the females. We don't really do that very much, which I'll be honest, and I'm not gonna hide from it. That was one of my main criticisms with Austin in the beginning, was it felt like he was trying to bring Brazilian women into the battle. And maybe he said it wasn't his intention,
Well put, well
but
put, well put.
I told you, and we talked about this in our back channels between us in the groups. I said I don't like, and brother Prez has said in our chat, we need to cut out all this focusing so much on females. In our group, Prez right here said we're gonna stop going back and forth and worrying about so much about what they're doing. We're focusing on what we're doing. We're focusing on what BMO has planned, and we're focusing on making our networking and connections with different peoples and groups overseas to continue to focus on our strengths, which is being Black American men, having the good rapport that we do with these people, which is why so many of us are speaking out, defending it. We're doing our best to defend our strengths, which is our image, how we carry ourselves, how we come off, how these people love us. We're defending that, and we're not focused on getting better at talking points, debating with women, going back and forth about stuff that's going on in the States.
Yes,
It's just like we left all that behind. We left that in America. And I was a little
yes.
disappointed that everybody anointed Austin as some leader, and his most of his content was based off controversy. He even said it. And I just was like, family, that's your disconnection from being a young traveler and the OGs who have been doing this. We're not, there's
And
so
they
many
dubbed
travel
them
brothers we don't
the new
even
Kevin
know.
Samuel, the up and coming
Yes,
Kevin
the new
But
Samuel.
Kevin
see,
To
but
show.
see, now see, but see, that's the problem in itself. That's why I say you're going to see a separation, because there's no way in hell
How you gonna see?
that kid.
And then can you go ahead and talk about But can when at the end, can you please help me understand how do you see that separation? And I'll tell
Oh,
you why I don't
well,
see a separation later.
well, you're going to see a separation. It's just not going to be televised, because those guys that are going to continue to do that, what they're going to do, they're not going to let it go on for too much longer. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to let them continue to do the things that they're going to do. They're going to start cleaning up and going after these dudes. When you see dudes start losing their channels, then you're going to see stuff go underground. But even
You talking about those states, meaning those countries and the
wait a minute.
technology platforms. Is that what you're speaking of?
No. What I'm saying is the countries aren't going to stop anything. This is just the whole evolution of this situation has grown bigger than that. I mean, back to what you were saying as far as the red pill content that a lot of the guys are doing. What people don't understand is that you have to, as a Black American man living in the United States, you have a form of PTSD because you are subjected to wartime environments all the time. And when you leave the States and go someplace else and
You
experience
leave that shit behind.
right, when you leave and go someplace else, you have an emotional release. That's the same thing where people come back with PTSD from service, where they were driving the Humvees and they come here and they drive straight through the traffic lights. Why? Because they're still in that mode. Brothers go overseas and they get into another environment, and all of a sudden that PTSD goes away, and they have it, and they have an emotional release. Nobody talks about the mental aspect of a lot of these dudes traveling and what stage they're in when they travel. And I personally think that some of these guys in the red pill space, traveling is a way to vindicate some of the things that they thought. And so, and
Whoosh.
also, and yeah, and also,
Well said.
yeah, and also vindication for them mentally, but also a vindication for what they were saying to the women, because the women made them feel like there was something wrong with them. And when they go someplace else and they get a better looking woman as they are, then it's that emotional release. And brothers don't want to talk about that, but we've observed it, and we've
Yeah,
seen
I
the
mean, it
phenomenon
is.
happen numerous occasions. So I think that's where you're going to get that from, as far as red pill content. You're trying to fight a gender war in another country with American women.
That's the. Yeah, bro. I
Yeah, yeah,
love the way you said it, man.
yeah.
And
You
and
don't need
and
to.
and
You don't
and
need
the
to
whole
do that.
passport, and the whole passport, bro, is like, I feel like we're giving this guys a biggest piece of component in their armory like they've never had. That's like the nicest, like that's like the, because what happened with the passport bro thingy is that now I can see a link from the red pill or the gender war, right? But I just don't think like we need to stretch it. I think passport broing is just, now I don't prescribe to all these pills, but from what I've heard as far as like red pill, blue pill, black pill, that's what I've heard. Now I'm not a theorist on these things, but I guess like supposedly your passport bro will be like somebody who's somewhat, I guess, red black pill. I guess black pill is like you've come to the reality, you've accepted it for what
Well,
it is, and you go ahead, Chris.
well. The thing about it, when we start talking about pills in terms of how it relates to passport brothers and brothers who travel, um, black pill, blue pill, red pill. Red pill is understanding. Red pill is you understand the reality of how things are and what they are, and you have decided to still play the game. This is the best way it gets laid out because I go back and I listen to Rollo Tomasi and dudes like this, uh, you know. So when it's laid out, red pill is the understanding of reality the way that it is, the truth of the reality. What you do with that reality now kind of determines where you fall. So black pill, they say, they more or less stop playing the game. It's just all is whatever. It's done. Everything is done. It is what it is. Kind of like almost like no hope type situation. Now I could be misquoting black pill people, excuse me, but from the general perspective, that's kind of how black pill is outlined because everything falls under red pill. Either it's red pill or blue pill first. All right, blue pill is not knowing. Red pill is knowing. And under red pill, if you laid this out correctly, you have your manosphere. Under your manosphere, you have then the black manosphere. Within the black manosphere, you have all these things that came about. SYSBM. Well, MGTOW did come before that, but you have SYSBM. Then there's MGTOW, not necessarily Black Manosphere, but you have these different groups. And then you have Passport Bros as a way to classify men who have decided to travel versus dealing with the drama here in the States. That's different from guys who just say, oh, well, I don't care. I'm just going to do whatever because nothing matters. That's more so the black pill side of the game. Black pill guys are not necessarily travel guys. That's the difference. Now, some people talk about green pill. Now, green pill, okay, shout out to Jamel. Green pill was kind of something set aside for passport guys. You know what I'm saying? Referring to guys who travel. It was kind of like a little joke hashtag. But I kind of stick to red pill, blue pill, and then things that kind of take their own way, they kind of dive off into white pill and black pill and purple pill. And because people want to get to they'll get very niche and nuance with how they start to describe things after red pill. But basically, red pill is just the understanding that you understand female nature, you understand the reality of what's going on out here in the world, you understand and then how we've decided to move with it is passport bros traveling. That's our understanding under the guise of being red pill. And that's most brothers' way of going into it. Because most brothers are not going to be serious about traveling if they don't have a reason. So if you don't have a reason, your reason generally is going to come from you having being upset about what's going on in the States, specifically culture, which is why it's so important for brothers who travel to understand how valuable culture is. If you were a Mac Daddy in the States and then all of a sudden you just travel somewhere, you're going to take that same mentality of what you were doing in the States because that was winning for you. You don't have an issue with what was going on with the States. Now, that's not to say that brothers who do travel weren't getting any action in the States. No. But one thing that separates the quote unquote Mac Daddy from the brother who traveled is the fact that they realize the issue is in the culture and they don't have to stick around to try to fix it. That's the thing. We're not preaching pro-black arguments over here to say, oh, you needs to be a part of the black community and you got to stay home on the plantation and fix yours black woman. No, that's not what we do here. We understand our value. We recognize who we are as men, and we will take our talents to South Beach or any other beach that is willing to give us what we're looking for. And we don't sit here and have to bargain and beg no woman. See, because it's not just about, one country being the best. Brothers will go to where they feel that they are most loved and needed. That's why it's called Black Man's Option. That's why it is labeled this way, because brothers understand they go where they're loved, and it's your option to go anywhere you want to go. You can go, because that's why we don't shame like brothers who want to go into Europe and do their thing. And if they like a certain type of white woman or European woman, whatever, do you? You're still a travel brother because it's not specifically a pro-black perspective. Okay, you can go wherever you want. Black man's option, but you realize your value, and that's one of the key differences. So that's how we
Yeah.
classify the pills.
Yeah, now I'm totally not like an expert at the description of these pills. It's just I've heard some people who are part of the traveling community and they said like, oh, we're black pill community. So I kind of and even though I criticize people that do that because I notice a high level of copy and pasting with the within or in around red pill manosphere space, and we've seen it with the recent. We already on it. I'm sure they already hate me, but I was say it. But you seen the exact same thing happen to that young man. He sort of was copy pasting red pill,
Mentality.
manosphere, gender war, talking
Yeah.
points
Yes.
within travel. And I will say that's one of the first time I've seen somebody do it at such an obsessive level. Now,
Yes.
guys, talk about it because typically most of us, I'll say 95 plus percent of the black male traveling community, they sort of been through the red pill phases or whatnot. I don't know where they may be at now, whether you want to call it black pill or whatnot, but we are somewhat being red pill. But I never seen somebody that's like on the travel side so obsessed and stuck with it. And that right there, I feel like is not a good thing because a lot of tenet of the characteristics of the red pill and manosphere, like talking point, gender war, talking point, they're very repetitive, microwavable. They're just the same exact talking points. And I feel like when you go to a certain environment, it's too dynamic to come with these black and white perspectives because your American analysis and on a certain things, I don't think they correlate 100% the exact same way. It's not to say they're not valid. I don't think it's the exact same environment, because the problems you were having in the United States is one of the reason you got red pill or whatnot.
Yep.
And the problems you were having in the United States, and you realize, wow, it's the environment. Now, when you go somewhere else, you're not having the same problem, the same things, and you want to keep that same programming. It's gonna fuck with you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to put you in situations like we see Austin essentially got himself into, because the thing is, he went down there with the programming of uh, the talking points that would battle feminist, right? And he went down there and he found a
Thank
feminist.
you.
So the thing is just like, that's why Passport Brothers, and like you were asking Prez about, the movements and, how can we know about a separation, stuff like this. There are more things that go on behind the scenes. That's the point. A lot of things won't be public. That's what it's going to come down to, because a lot of these guys who travel are not, they're not in the public eye. That's the biggest thing. You see the content creators who are known, okay, they're known, but there are so many guys who are traveling under the umbrella. They don't, because they're not letting their business get out there, because they have decided to move, and it's better to move in silence, because you have a way of protecting yourself on so many levels if you don't have many pitfalls, because now people can track you so easily. You know what I mean? That's why you want to be very careful about, if you are a traveler and if you get the clout, knowing how to deal with it. That's why when you put dynamite in the hands of a child, you can have situations like Austin. Okay. Now we saw it. We saw him holding the dynamite, and we're just like, son, if you don't throw that, it could blow up in your face. And
Yeah.
essentially blew up in his face. So, but now the thing about it though is that he does have time to recover and recuperate, but it's gonna come down to, has he learned? How's he gonna move now? What's he gonna do? And now he's got even more notoriety. Stephanie, you definitely helped him with that. And she helped kind of break the door open even more. So the thing is that we have to understand, all in all, that first of all, this movement is not going to die. It ain't going nowhere. Everybody understands
Yeah.
that the culture is the reason why most men travel, and they understand specifically, you don't go to somebody else's culture and mess it up. These are big points that we, as traveling men, understand. And when we sit down, we don't even really have to, we'll sit at a table and just know. We just agree because we get it. And we understand that we're not going down a certain place. You should see how we all join together when we first show up in a different country, and we all meet up at a restaurant. And before we have the welcome dinner, and brothers just dapping each other up, shaking hands, and just talking about all the things. It's like, it's such a therapeutic experience to be with like-minded brothers and individuals, and also brothers who are down there on the same accord, man. It's such a great thing. Now, first of all, yeah, we've been rocking for like almost 3 hours, guys. So we at the point of the show where we're just gonna go ahead and have final thoughts. Anything that y'all want to say to the youngins, anything that y'all want to put out there. Go ahead, round robin. We'll have final thoughts, and we'll start with you, Mr. G.
Thank you for having me, bro. Thank you for having this. And I hope that you can get to grow, and more people will be interested in some of the things that you have to teach them, and show them about Brazil and traveling period. Because there is a war of popularity within this space and things of that nature. And The most valuable uh people that have more knowledge, or valid points, are not really what's champion and things of that nature. And that's one of the things that I would like to uh, be corrected in the space. But however, I think we're just, and this is one of the reasons I don't subscribe to some sort of a term or whatnot, or little gang. Because I mean, a lot of us, we're just black men, just traveling and things of that nature. um but I do hope brothers, when they decide to travel, they actually try to know a couple of things about the culture, people, and try and actually listen, right? Like, listen, when somebody talk to you, take their advice, and actually I'm not saying just be like a robot, but take their advice, consider it, because you go into these places. I mean, you don't know all. I mean, you don't even know the language and things of that nature. You're far from home, so listen to people. Don't be afraid to travel. Travel's a beautiful thing. And just keep your nose clean, and remember, like I seen a video that's been going around on WhatsApp, and then the brother said, what happened in Vegas stay in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? So everything don't need to be put on tape and televised and things of that nature, because it looks like some guys are literally filming the evidence for their conviction, man. This shit is crazy. But yeah, just stay out the line, travel, have fun, and enjoy life, man. Thank you, bro.
Thanks. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming up, man. Thanks for your support, brother. I appreciate you coming up. Come back around next time. Generally, I'm going to try to get to where I'm doing once a week. I'm trying to stick to once a week between Friday, Saturdays. Pretty much my schedule. I'm working somewhere between, I would say, 7 to 9 is going to be my window. So yeah, y'all look out for me. That's what I'm going to keep doing. And appreciate you for coming up, bro. Thanks for coming up. All right, brother Prez. Final words, man. Final words.
Man, I'm not gonna be long-winded. I'm just gonna say, quick and easy. I'm with you on the passport bro fatigue. I'm pretty much over it. It's and it's gonna run its course. It's the hottest topic. But what people don't really understand about why it's so hot right now is because black men have been saying for decades that we leaving the plantation. And this passport bro movement is us leaving the plantation. They never thought this day was going to come, and now they see it. It's here, and now they're doing everything that they can to keep American black men trapped here, especially the ones that they need to maintain the community. But the cat is out of the bag. You're not going to stop black men from traveling. You may label people that target people that label themselves as passport bros, but like Chris said like earlier, everybody doesn't label themselves as passport bros. Most people really move in silence, and the only reason why we do what we do is because we want to attract more like-minded brothers to explore their options. Chris, you did a wonderful job as usual. I appreciate you letting me come up and hang out with you for a little bit. We got to support each other. But it's passport bro, the hashtag may die off like Black Lives Matter. But black men with passports traveling is here to stay. And like in the words of one of my favorite orators, Mr. Ric Flair, whether you like it or not, learn to love it. Because black men that are traveling is here to stay.
Woo! Oh man, Fred, thanks for coming through. Yeah, go ahead and shout out the what's the schedule for you? We going live tomorrow? Be Black Man.
Yeah. We're going live tomorrow. We're going to live tomorrow over at BMO, Black Man's Option. We're going live tomorrow at 8:30. Haven't quite got the topic up. Got 2 or 3 things under my belt, and working on it. But hopefully by the morning comes up, we'll have the thumbnail out and we'll get ready for it. So yeah, but we ready to go, brother. We ready to go.
All right, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you for coming up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and let you down, man. We'll link up tomorrow. We'll get it in, and we'll have another fire show on BMO Radio, man. Can't wait for it, bro.
All right, man. Later.
All right, brother. Yeah, man. All right. So, appreciate everybody for joining. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the chat. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the panel. Shout out to the brothers who are supporting the movement right now. You know what I mean? Like, passport bros, we up. That's all I'm gonna say. We ain't going nowhere. Brothers who travel, and I'm gonna carry the banner. I'm gonna carry the banner until it dies, because I want people to see how to do it the right way. Not saying I'm taking shots at Brother Austin. No, I'm not. But I want to make sure that when people hear the name Passport Bros and they see a black man traveling, and they understand that your preconceived notions are not what it is. No matter how hard y'all want to continue to try to fight the movement, no matter how hard y'all want to continue to try to, shame black men, hold black men down, no matter how hard you want to try to go at stopping us, all the things that you want to do in order to hold us back. Guess what? It ain't finna happen. All right. It ain't finna happen. You're not finna stop the movement. Okay. So to answer my question, when I had my opening soliloquy, when we started this whole thing, is the passport movement over? Did Austin Hollerman kill it? Hell no. Hell no. We here, they ain't going nowhere, baby. Passport bros, we up. Stay fired up, stay traveling, and stay catching flights, boys. I'm going to catch y'all somewhere on the beach one day. Like I said, with a drink in my hand and my feet in the sand. Yo, keep traveling, keep moving. Y'all keep doing it, man. Appreciate y'all for coming out tonight. Appreciate you for everybody supporting. Like, comment, subscribe. Share the video. Let everybody know that you are part of the Passport movement, and let everybody know that Passport bros are speaking. Let nobody hold you back, and let nobody hold your tongue. All right? We're going to keep this thing going. All right? Next week should be my next video. I'm going to keep things going as long as everything stays settled during the week. You know what I mean? Like, I'm aiming to have this be my last time talking about Austin. All right? You know what I'm saying? We done kicked the dead horse up one side of his ass and back down the other. Nigga, we good. We done talked about it enough. Okay. But yeah, man, we're gonna get up out of here, man. Appreciate y'all for coming. Appreciate y'all for joining. And I'm out, y'all. Passport Bros, we up. Y'all stay hungry, stay supporting. I'm out. Peace.